Well, good evening, good evening, good evening again. Wednesday, October the 23rd of 2024. And my honor and my pleasure to be your host again tonight for the Marcia Week show. Pleasure for me to be able to come into your homes, I guess, or wherever you are, and to have you join us, the loyal opposition, the Barbadian, the Barbadian People's Government. And we want to thank you for tuning in with us this evening. Just log in on and encourage you to please share on Facebook, share YouTube, send it out through WhatsApp. You can always copy that YouTube link and send it out. We look forward to you sharing tonight. We have another tremendously packed program this evening and a couple of surprises actually for you, and I'm smiling. Okay, but a couple of surprises for you. So, in just a minute, we're going to get going. You know that we're going to, whenever we officially start with our national anthem, and we look forward to you singing along with us, and of course to our national pledge as well. And so we want to welcome all of you that are joining us this evening. And I can run down the list of a few of you. Lucinda Aline, good evening. Taroni Hall, always good to have you. And thank you for your gracious comments. We look forward to them all the time. Judy Jilts, good evening to you as well. Mildred Ben, and it's me. Every time I see that, the first thing that goes through my mind is that song, It's Me, O Lord, standing in the need of prayer. Yes, actually, happy birthday to Marcia. I think it is today. So we're going to wish her a happy birthday going through the program. Queen B, good evening to you as well. Yes, Mr. Franklin, I'm sure is going to like lots of love coming to him and belated birthday wishes indeed. I believe his was on Sunday. I think it was. And CG, good evening to you, Queen. Yeah, well, Queen B, I just welcome you. The winds of change are blowing. Yes, they are blowing. Enough is enough. Cecilia Miller, good evening to you as well. Pleasure to have you with us. Vernon Garnes and Patrick Designs. Thank you for your shout out to Mr. Caswell and to Marcia, Dave Kimar, Mrs. McLean Gline, all of us. Nigel Carrington, good evening to you as well. And there's Marcia. Marcia, good to see you. We're going to have that national anthem in just a minute. Jefferson Sobers and Nat Grant, good evening to both of you as well. Flo Joe Maloney, it's amazing how words bring so many things back to your memory. But as I always see that Flo Joe Maloney name, I remember Flo Joe, the sprinter from the United States. Very colorful. She had the nails and the hair and everything. Tremendous sprinter. Marcia Miller, good evening to you as well. Ryan Rock, good night to you. Tamika Harper, pleasure to have you back with us again. Sir Alfred Benjamin, great to see you, sir, from New York City, locked in. And I thank you for being there. As a matter of fact, going to share some news with you later on. All right, Sir Alfred. Bajan Boy as well, Hasbra. Neon Stern, thank you for being here. Um, yes, I did, Marcia, not a bad one. Very restful, actually, because I've extended myself a lot over the last couple of days physically. And so I had a restful one today. Rochelle Thornhill, good evening to you. Pleasure to have you with us this evening. Wendy Ford Griffith, thank you for being here. And Matthew Brown, good night to the loyal opposition. And yes, to Marcia and to the entire team. Thank you, Matthew. Mac Bolan, good night to you as well. We're up to 214, just over the 200 mark. And so I'm going to get Dave to prep that song that we always wait to hear that tells us officially the Marcia Week show has begun. And so I'm going to ask Dave to get that national anthem ready. And I'm going to ask you, wherever you are, if you can please respect our national anthem and stand to attention. I do every time it's played here. I stand to attention by my desk, and I really respect our national anthem and our national pledge. And so, Dave, I'm going to ask you to let that national anthem rip, please, sir, so we can officially start the program. Yes, 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 our national anthem. I tell you, I've grown to appreciate it more now than ever before. We loyal sons and daughters all do hereby make it known. These fields and hills beyond recall are now our very own. They do not belong to the UN. They do not belong to the WEF. They do not belong to the WHO. They belong to us. They do not belong to the Barbados Labour Party, and they do not belong to the Democratic Labour Party or any other political party. They belong to the people of Barbados. They're now our very own. We write our names on history's page with expectations great. We still have those expectations as we engage our national anthem. Strict guardians, listen to it, strict guardians of our heritage, firm craftsmen of our fate. We are the ones who will guard what has made us the people that we are today, made us the great people, as some persons will say. Barbados is not punching above its weight through politicians, it's punching above its weight through the people of Barbados, our national resource, the people of our country, the citizens of Barbados. Join me now as we speak it together, as we say together our national pledge. I pledge allegiance to my country, Barbados, and to my flag, to uphold and defend their honor, and by my living to do credit to my nation wherever I go. I want you to hear that. I pledge allegiance to my country, Barbados, and to my flag, to uphold and defend their honor, and by my living to do credit to my nation wherever I go. That includes in Parliament. It includes how politicians conduct themselves in the House of Assembly and in the Senate. And there are times I start to watch the parliamentary parliamentary debates and I just turn off because I cannot tolerate the childish and immature manner in which some parliamentarians conduct themselves with constant personal attacks. Parliament is no place for that. If you want to personally attack someone, resign and go and live somewhere else and do something else. But as long as you're in Parliament, you're there to do the people's business, not yours. We don't care what you think. We don't care what issues you have with the opposition or another colleague in Parliament. We care about what you are doing for us in the House of Assembly, what you are saying, what you are enunciating in the House of Assembly, and how you conduct yourself. And we are going to touch on something about that later on tonight. I'm not going to steal anybody's thunder. But I will say that, over the years, I have watched the level of debate in Barbados, and I think our former Prime Minister, the Honorable Owen Seymour Arthur, referenced the fact that it was on the decline. And to be honest with you, when I look at some of these immature individuals that are sitting in the House of Assembly with faces that have just come out of the cradle, so to speak, they don't seem to know what it means to conduct yourself in a decent manner and in an orderly manner. And I saw an exchange today, really, that disappointed me. And the reason it disappointed me is because the individual who was speaking, and I'm not going to engage it very much more than that, should know better, should be a person of decency and integrity. And I simply will leave it at that. But I've always felt that politicians, listen, when you are finished your election campaign and you get into Parliament, it's a totally different ball game. Leave all your nastiness and your innuendos and your personal attacks outside of the House of Assembly. When you're in the House of Assembly and the Senate, you're there to do the people's business. We don't care about what you think about X, Y, or Z. We are very interested in knowing what you're going to do to reduce the cost of living in Barbados, what you're going to do to bring the price of gasoline and diesel and kerosene oil down, what you're going to do to ensure that we have a proper manufacturing sector that is generating jobs and foreign exchange for our country. Those are the things we are interested in. Well, what are you going to do to fix the water woes in Barbados in terms of what is going on in St. Lucie? What are you going to do concerning housing? Did you look back at your manifesto to see how many houses you said you would build in the 5-year period per year? We want those answers, those matters of accountability. And speaking about those matters of accountability, you know, I must tell you that I was absolutely amazed at Mrs. Corbyn's presentation on Sunday. She was stunning in the context of complaining, in the context of seeing things that are there and speaking out, which our Prime Minister in she is the person who told us, when you see something, speak up, speak out. But now when you speak up and speak out, there is the threat of penalization. Well, you are not going to be able to silence us. You know, the thought this went through my mind. There's a little caption, a little thing. I'm so sorry I don't have it here. I wish I had thought of it earlier. I would have sent it to Dave and asked him to pull it up. And maybe Dave, when I speak of it, you might be able to find it and put it on the screen for people to see. There's a little caption with a playing board on the backs of the people, and the politicians are playing on the playing board. And the caption says, uh, let me make sure I remember what it says. The game is over when the people stand up. And this is what we need to see in Barbados. We need to see people standing up. I can't say I'm disappointed or surprised. I don't know how I would describe it, but you all can find a word there for me. When I see people who are more committed to their party and more loyal to their politicians than they are to the people and to the country and to their flag. I'm concerned about the fact that people are prepared, and I'm watching it even in the United States in this current election. I'm watching people who are prepared to forego all kinds of things on both sides of the divide. And I'm not going to get into who is for who and who is for what. I'm not interested in that at this particular point in time. What I am saying is that people are prepared to ignore many of the, what did we call it again in our national anthem? Our heritage. People are prepared to ignore our heritage and ignore being craftsmen, firm craftsmen of our faith under the guise of supporting politicians. And thank you, Dave. There it is, ladies and gentlemen. You can see it. All we got to do is stand up, and the game is over. Let me see if I can just move the thing, and it's game over. You see that? When the people stand up, politicians sitting around the playing board, the elitists rubbing shoulders with the rich and the famous, and doing it on the backs of the people. You know what is clearly obvious to me is that we still have the plantation mentality with us in our politicians. They have not come off the plantation. They're still in on the plantation. They're still trying to impose upon the backs of citizens in the Caribbean the atrocities of slavery, using it through a different medium in terms of what now being economic, through the master slaves that they have now. They bring that slave in out of the field and put them in charge of their own to keep them a particular way, to sell them masses rhetoric so that they will be silent and they will not oppose what is being done, because after all, we are the people who there's another one. If only people understood their true power was in unity. And that is what we have to engage, ladies and gentlemen. We are we have to change the landscape, the paradigm of politics in Barbados. Otherwise, it will continue to regurgitate, regurgitate, regurgitate. Just today, I was looking, I was reading an article on the forgotten meaning of we the people. As you know, that is the start of the Declaration of Independence in the United States. We are the people, the republic expression that we the people, and we understand democracy that did not differentiate between female and male in terms of the status of individuals. It was we the people. and the slave owners tried to establish a position that would allow one of the slaves to keep the others in track, keep them under control, so that they don't violate what they want. And that's the same thing we are watching today playing out, where our leaders are globe-trotting with the rich and the famous, with the elitists, and bringing to us what they are saying has to be. That's why we are dealing with the cybercrime bill in the format that it is in, to silence the slaves on the plantation. You cannot let the slaves get out of hand. You can't let the slaves be able to post things on social media at women fancy. We have to control the narrative. And you, house slaves, you go out there and you tell them for us what has to be and what is. That is the same plan and strategy that has been used for time immemorial, from the time we were brought into this region by our colonial masters. And it hasn't changed. We have the same political mentality today as our foreparents did, not ours, as the colonial masters did when they passed that on to the slaves and to the slaves, the house slaves. One day I was on my way over the brow, and many of you would know what I'm talking about if you're driving and you're coming over the brow by CBC, past the Pine Hill Dairy, and you're making it down the hill toward the statue of Bussa. And as I was coming down there, I heard a voice, a voice in my head. It spoke to me. Thank you, Edwin, for that. A voice in my head, it spoke to me, and it said, the chains are still on his hands. The chains are still on his hands. In other words, the interpretation I grasped and understood from that was that while we were politically free in the sense that we voted in our government, we were no longer under the control politically, although that still to some degree remains, of the colonial masters, the United Kingdom, Great Britain. We were no longer under their control. Mentally, we were not set free. We are still enslaved. Our black people are still fighting our black people, and we are still falling under the load and control of the white colonial masters out of the World Economic Forum and out of the World Health Organization and out of the European Union, who want to tell us the morals of our country, what is to happen with our education system, how we're going to deal with matters of tourism, what you're going to or not going to manufacture, what subsidies we are going to provide or not provide, and control what is happening. I watched a video today, and I'm so sorry we didn't have the time for me to let you view it tonight. But I watched a video today concerning Africa, where the man that was speaking was addressing the fact that Africa, the colonial masters intended to keep Africa impoverished, because that's where all the raw materials that would make them wealthy existed. And as long as they can keep the African people enslaved, they are the ones who will get wealthy, and they will then provide handouts to the Africans. That's what we are living in. Handouts, loans that are driving us in debt enormously. And our leadership, our government, is embracing all of that kind of process. And so we have to take a stand. The people have to take a stand and speak out. The Prime Minister gave her five, I think it was five. Let me make sure I get it right, because I don't like to misquote. I don't like to misquote people. She gave her 5 beacons, I am told, over the weekend at the Barbados Labour Party conference. Beacon number 1, accountability. Well, we are going to complain, as Rose would say, about accountability. Ma'am, you have no legitimate and moral right to speak of accountability, because up to now your government has not given accountability for the debacle throughout the entire educational system. You have not given accountability for the transitioning of properties and lands in Barbados out of agriculture. You have not given accountability for the monies that were supposed to be used in the whole project to construct homes, but we can't find the homes that are supposed to be built. You have not given accountability concerning the 87 or 89 million that was supposed to have been used for the development of a sewage position off of the south coast to protect our country's sewage aspect. You haven't given accountability. How can you stand up on a platform and tell the Barbadian people that we have to be accountable? How can you talk about cleanliness? You know, there's a saying, cleanliness is next to godliness. Okay, fine. Nationally, physically, we may be clean, but internally, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, we stink. How are you going to stand up and talk about cleanness and respect? How are you going to talk about respect when the opening of the last government, at the launch of the last government, you did not have the respect for the religious leadership of this country? In the table of precedent, you did not even ask the president of the Evangelical Association or the Christian Council to lead in prayer during that process. And you talk about respect. You talk about respect, and I speak about the matter. I've just mentioned it in Parliament. Respect. You have to respect your parliamentary colleagues. You don't call them names, and you know, there are things that are no longer acceptable where that is concerned. You talk about solutions. You're tired of the complaining, and you want to hear solutions. In 2018 and in 2022, the Barbadian electorate put you in office because you said you had solutions for all of the issues where our country was current. That is what you said. That is what your government, your party said. You're now coming to the people to ask them for solutions. Get real. If you don't have the solutions, the best thing to do is to call an election. And if you think you can pull a snap election and get reelected, you're going to be in for a shocking surprise, because you're going to discover that the opposition in Barbados is bigger than the single man that sits in the House of Assembly as the leader of the opposition. And finally, the Barbadian citizenship. We are Barbadians first. We are not global elitists and globetrotters. We are Barbadians first. We elected you, we employed you and your 28 others to represent the interests of the Barbadian people, not your personal interests, nor to make ad hoc decisions and decisions to sign us on to agreements that you have not even come to the people of Barbados, indicated what is being proposed, what it means, and hear how we feel about it. So because you're the government now and you're elected to office, you're going to play Big McGuffey and make decisions for the people of Barbados. But you fail to remember that this is now a republic, your own establishment. You made us, you led us into being a republic. We, the people. And that is where we are today. We, the people. That is a republic. A republic is not we, the government. A republic is not we, the Barbados Labour Party. A republic is we, the people. Today, I'm saying to you that one of the things I believe is that democracy is on trial in Barbados. The verdict hangs in the balance of who will comprise the jury, and the people are who are comprising the jury in this instance. Obviously, the mood of the majority of the people has changed down through the last several years. And I'm telling you, my friend, my dear, my Madam Prime Minister, you need to listen to the people. I'm not talking about having parish meetings in which you vet, or your people vet, the questions that are coming to you. We don't want that American style of political rhetoric and foolishness in this country. We're intelligent people. We don't need to have that here. If you are the leader you are, allow the people to ask you anything and answer them courteously, not in some disingenuous manner, excuse me, where you make them think that use the Big McGuffey and I can scare the hell out of you all so that you don't dare come to me with a complaint or a criticism. Let me tell you something. You're going to discover that there are a lot of people in Barbados that are not afraid of you or your government. You're going to discover at the ballot box, whenever elections are called, and I've said it on more than one occasion, dare to call the election. I spent a few minutes recently reflecting on some of the wars in the Pacific. I like that type of thing. I used to play chess because I like that, strategy and so on. And I watched a few videos, and I saw some of these huge battleships, some 45,000 tons. The Bismarck was 45,000 tons. I watched these ships being taken down, by comparison, relatively speaking, a little shell, a armor piercing shell. Some hit the right spot, as it did in the Hood, on the Hood, HMS Hood, in 1945. It landed in the middle of the ship, in the magazine, and within 30 seconds, Her Majesty's ship, the Hood, was on the water. I can't remember the complement of sailors that were killed in that singular attack at this time. But if you think, ma'am, that we need to have a whole big set of things to overcome, you're deadly mistaken. You're sadly mistaken and dangerously fooled. The Titanic was sunk not by the 1/10th of the iceberg the captain saw, but by the 9/10ths that he did not see. And that's the problem you have. You are not seeing. But if you walk around this country and listen to the people, if you allow them, without your intimidating demeanor, to have a genuine say and speak to you, you will discover the majority of them are not pleased with the direction this country is going in. They're not pleased with the matters of international agencies and elitists imposing upon our country what they want to see in our educational system and financial systems. We are not pleased. We are heading in the wrong direction. And so our Barbadian citizenship is very important to us. And that is why we complain. I made a note. Complaining is the roadway to solutions. When somebody complains, it says to you something is wrong. And if something is wrong and you do not know the solution, then the correct thing to do is to sit down in a round table discussion with the people of Barbados. Not, you see this thing with this big head table laid out? What that big head table says is sitting behind here is massa servants. And the rest of you all that are there sitting down, you see who we are? We're the ones chosen by massa to sit here. So be very careful how you're getting up and speaking to us. I, as a leader, have never sat at a head table of a meeting I have engaged. I have always had our tables set in a circle. So if you walked into the room, you wouldn't even know who's the chairperson of the meeting. You wouldn't know who's leading the meeting because everybody was seated in an equal position. And that is what we elected you to do. That is what you need to bring to the table, not to set up a big head table with yourself in the middle and all your ministers left and right. Why they can't sit down in the audience and let the people speak to them in the audience? As a pastor, as a reverend, as an ordained minister, I in my church, in another one I did sit on the platform, but in my church I sat in the congregation, sometimes on the front row, sometimes in the back, and sometimes people would be looking for me and want to know where I was in the back. Why? Because I selected persons to lead. People will be looking at me to find out where we go next. I said, no, you determine where we are going next. You have to use your initiative. You may not always be right, but I have to give you the opportunity to be wrong so that you can develop your skill and ability to be right. And that's how I led in our assembly. That's what I did. I didn't sit at the head table. My wife and I had an anniversary service for our church, and we served. We did not sit at the head table and be served. We let the people sit, and my wife and I and the leadership of the church served the people. Why? Because leadership is about service. You hear that? SERVICE. Leadership is about service. It is about having a servant's heart. It's about being there and, doing for people what they need to have done. That is what a leader is, not sitting behind some big desk like a big McGuffey. And what do you all want to ask me tonight? How dare you? No, 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 no. You see, that's not. And thank you, Marcia. That's not humility. That is arrogance and pride. That is a dictatorial position. And I don't live in that realm. My mother didn't live in that realm, and I'm not going to follow somebody else different than how my mother raised me and taught me to be. She taught me to respect every human individual. That is what she taught me to do. And so I pass some of these things on to you. I pass, not when I say you, I'm not talking to the loyal opposition here, because the loyal opposition already knows. I'm talking to the government. I'm talking to the Prime Minister, the members of Parliament, to the ministers. If you're going to come out and talk to the people, don't sit down behind some table, right? Create a round table. Set up the forum in a circle where persons can interact with you, and dare to allow them to put you on the spot and answer them with integrity, accountability, transparency, and above all, with decency. Treat them like the human beings they are. That is my 2 cents worth. That is my 2 cents worth at the moment. All right? That is my 2 cents worth at the moment. Well, I have a surprise for you all tonight. You are not going to believe who is in the house. You are simply not going to believe it. You've been coming on, and I must confess, my face is not as lovely. And I don't have anywhere near as much hair. And to be honest with you, the colors, I am learning color. I have to go to school to learn what colors match me best. But I have someone in the house that I know you're going to be only too happy to meet. And once they give me the thumbs up, I am going to bring them into the studio, because this individual is one I know you have been longing to see. So, loyal opposition, are you ready? I want you to put your hands together wherever you are and raise raise a hallelujah, raise a thank you, and let us welcome back to the show Madam Marcia Wheat.
Wow, I've never been introduced like this before. I feel so welcomed, I tell you.
Oh, you're welcome. You are so welcome back to the show. Good evening, Marcia. It's so good to see
Good
you.
evening, Dr. Ferdinand. Good
Oh,
evening.
wow.
It's really a joy. I miss you all. I was telling somebody, I said, I miss the people. I miss the Judy and the Richard Mears and everybody, Square Four, and It's Me. And Dave and I, we were talking all about those names this morning.
Yes.
And I miss the Marcias. I think we have about three Marcias: Peter King
Yes.
and Cammy and Donna Holder, Matthew Brown, Dale Worrell, Tyron Nurse. Let me tell you, listen, man, 1 week feel like too long.
I'm
Oh
telling
my
you, I'm telling you. But so good to have you back. So good to see you looking so well.
yes.
God bless you.
Yes, yes. Well, I just want, I love, there's a saying that we used to have on our film set, especially, we started this saying when we were filming Barrow, and it says,
Mhm.
teamwork makes the dream work.
Yes,
Teamwork
I
makes it,
like that.
and
Teamwork makes the dream work. Love it.
everybody saw the team in play at play this week, right? You
Oh,
saw them,
yes.
Dr. Ferdinand, Maxine McLean, Glenn Murray, Nigel, and you had Rose Corbin, and of course Dave is there. You don't see him, but you don't see him on the screen, but Dave is right there. And we just thank the entire team
Yes.
for the work
Yes.
that they have done to keep the show up and running and going. I mean, yeah, it's all about teamwork. So, yeah, it's good to see everybody. Anika, Tamika, Somebody said they had to watch some older videos. Oh my goodness. But no, I mean, yes, KT Cupid, wow. Well, thank you. Thank you. It's me.
Yes,
Yes,
yes.
welcome. Yes, I feel very, very welcome. And Dr. Ferdinand made sure I felt very welcome coming back.
And, and in addition to that, loyal opposition, happy birthday to you.
Oh,
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Marcia. Happy birthday to you.
thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Ah,
Only
dear me.
15 today. Only 15 years
Oh,
old.
we can see that. We can see that. Oh, my goodness. Wonderful.
But
Wonderful. Praise
yes,
God.
it's good to be back with family. It's good to be back
Yes.
with everybody here tonight. Um, as you know, the trip I went on in was in Poland, Dr. Ferdinand, and
Hmm.
I was asked to be a speaker at a conference there. And this conference was dealing with ways of, dealing with young people, and they were looking at basically the whole, the gender confusion and so on that a lot of our young people have. And so it was a great opportunity for me to speak on behalf of Barbados and the rest of the Caribbean on how we use the arts. So we use film, or we use music and song to communicate to young people. And so it was a great privilege for me to share with the people in Poland, many different countries. They had about 20 something speakers. I was the only black face there. Uh, but I was treated so well, and it was beautiful, really, really beautiful to be there. And then we stopped off in the UK. I stopped off in the UK, and we had that wonderful session. Let me just big up Tyrone Roach for doing a tremendous job on the ground, because you can have these ideas, but if you don't have people to pull them off, they don't happen. And Tyrone Roach was such a blessing in making that happen. And to see the young Barbadians living there, those who were at Harrison College, different schools, and they're studying now. They're in their second year, third year. They came out. We had quite a number of young people who have now left Barbados, either studying there or living there, married and staying there. All kinds of different scenarios, but brilliant minds. And we are editing the panel discussion so that you will be able to see it. We weren't able to go live with it because I did not have a team. I didn't have a team to do it with. So unfortunately, I did not have for you, uh, a live production. But it is being, at the moment, it's being edited so that you will be able to see it, because I want you to be able to see it and to participate in it. Yes, thank you for all the birthday wishes to everybody. Thank you, thank you. Today I always remember that today, yes, Selma, and that's what I'm going to ask my husband to have a picture of David Thompson, and we want to put up David Thompson's picture if we have it, because I remember that was a birthday. I cried out my eyes. I cried. I laid on my bed and I cried because I got that message about 2 o'clock or so that morning. And I said, my gosh, did it have to happen on my birthday? October 23rd is the day that he passed. David Thompson, 14 years ago, someone is saying. So we just want to acknowledge that if Dave has a picture of David Thompson, that we put it up on the screen. And he was one politician, and not because he's passed, but he's one politician that I would always, 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 I think about, and I think about his genuine care for people, genuinely care for people. If there's anybody listening to tell me that David Thompson did not genuinely care about people, listen, no, I don't agree. genuinely care about people. And that was 1 year for sure that I did vote DLP that year. But I just want to acknowledge that this is a day that he passed. And for those of you who are not worried, why am I saying worried, who are still saddened by his passing, the big question is, what are you doing with your own life? You're here on the earth. What can you do for people? What can you do for people? What kind of service? Dr. Ferdinand was talking a lot about service. And yes, it's me. Yes, he did care. He did care. Sometimes you wonder why the good people have to go, but he did care. He did not pretend to care. He did care about people, and it was unfortunate that he had to go, and to go so soon after being in office. I tell you, I couldn't even watch that funeral. I'm sorry, I couldn't watch it. I was overcome with grief, and so we want to acknowledge him tonight. Can anybody write something in the comment section about Mr. About our Prime Minister? Can somebody write something in the about Mr. Thompson, David Thompson? I agree. He was ready to walk in the footsteps of Mr. Barrow. He was ready. I mean, all the programs, even the summer school programs that they started, everything that they started was, to help poor people, the working class people. Somebody says that he drafted the Freedom of Information Act as an indication of caring about the people. That's one thing, okay, but I don't think it's passed, right? I don't think it's passed. We don't think we have a Freedom of Information Act. Somebody can correct me on that. But one of the things that he did was to remove a lot of the red tapes, a lot of the red tape that we used to have in some of the government offices. You take even Kaipo, for example. At Kaipo, a lot of that was removed during his tenure, the short time. Somebody said, somebody says he knew you by name and your family, even if you were married. Yes, and let's spend some time and remember him. Yeah. Somebody says that he was down to earth and respectful, right? Yes, and the Freedom of Information Act, it was drafted in 2008, but it was never passed. Yes. But think about what, for example, this government, they're saying we're not ready for Freedom of Information Act. That's what they're saying. But yet still, this man went ahead and he drafted it in 2008. Right? Somebody says he was a humble man. Some Marcia says, I am just I first met Mr. Thompson, his mom in Sunset Crest while working at Sun Color Photo Lab. Yes, Marcia says, I'm just sorry that he didn't get to truly fulfill his calling. He would have been an excellent PM. Yes, he was an excellent PM in the short time. And I say, in order, as we remember him, what I say to us is that let's ask ourselves, as Dr. Ferdinand was asking us, was speaking about service. How are you serving Barbados? How are you serving Barbados? In what ways are you serving Barbados? Judy writes, free bus ride for the children to ride free on the bus. This is for school children. Yes, he did that in the short time. I want to think about the short time he was in government and look at all that was implemented. Look at all that was implemented in the short time of his life in government as prime minister. This man, almost like he was waiting to get in so he could help poor people. Yeah. Jeannie Martley says, I met him and he was humble and welcoming. And he even invited me to his home and did not know me from Adams. And I believe you, yeah, because of just how he was. Yeah, well, okay, Matthew Brown, you never voted. That's okay. a lot of us voted because of what we thought he gave, and we are, as we're evidencing that tonight. I mean, you look at this government. I want to think about what has been done for poor people. What has there been any meaningful change? One of the first things that this government did when they went in, like, I mean, as soon as they went in, was to raise the bus fare. While what did he do for bus fare? He then allowed children to ride to school for free on the bus. That's something different, isn't it? Yeah. Somebody says he's a boss public speaker. Yeah. Yeah. Dr. Ferdinand reminding us to like and share. Where is Dr. Ferdy? Yes, yes. Okay, he's right there. Okay.
I
Yeah.
am right here. I'm just stepping back and letting the afterglow just fill the screen and
you
let
know,
me.
Yeah, but yeah, but we're here talking about Mr. Thompson, and as you were talking about services, Nigel Newton says Mr. Thompson's primary focus was the well-being of the family, and that is so true. And he was really pushing, talking a lot about crime and violence. Actually, I mean, I agree. I mean, if you could think that if he had done that short, and this is why I don't give up. I'm not one of those that's going to say that I don't believe that anybody can do anything good. Look at what this man was able to accomplish in the short space of time. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Marcia, at that time, I would have been a member of the Barbados Labour Party,
Yes.
and he knew that, even though we were on opposite sides of the political divide. I've always had decent and respectful interaction with Mr. Thompson. We talked about a number of different things whenever we encountered one another, but it was always very respectful. And I must say that there is an era of politician that we have lost, or an era. When I talk about the era, not the politician per se, but
Yes.
the era of decency and respect, where even though you would have the cut and thrust of the opposition and so on during your campaign, there was still that respect and still that camaraderie that you had, because he was a Barbadian and I was a Barbadian, and that was the number one thing that would have connected us together. And would to God that we had that still today, and not all of this animosity that we feel growing, and I think it's growing for a reason.
Yeah, very well said, Dr. Ferdinand. And I think it's quite fine to reflect tonight on his life, because it is just amazing that he would have done so much for poor people in this country, working class, middle class people in this country in that short space of time. And it's almost like he was in waiting, Dr. Ferdinand. He was a man in waiting, a leader in waiting, waiting with lots of great plans and aspirations for the poor people in this country, to serve, waiting to serve Barbados. And that's what he did in the short space of time. And I'm going to use this opportunity to ask everybody that's on here, 651 of you, and I'm asking you to share, to like and share. But I want everybody to ask yourself, what can I do for Barbados? How can I serve Barbados? Just listening to Dr. Ferdinand giving such an excellent talk about what servant leadership is. Are you willing to serve Barbados? And in what way? And as we are coming up on this Sunday, Dr. Ferdinand, it's on this Sunday, we're heading to St.
Yes,
Lucie. We're
yes.
heading to St. Lucie, not because we have nothing else to do with our Sunday. We're heading to St. Lucie because we want to serve. It is a time to serve. We're heading to St. Lucie. This is what Mr. This is what Prime Minister David Thompson would. I'm sure he would be on this motorcade with us. The kind of person that he is. Okay, so we are heading to St. Lucie to serve. Clean water is a basic right. I don't need to come on here to convince us to go to St. Lucie. You know that, loyal opposition. I don't need to come on to convince us. Well, whatever the party is, are you a part of the BLP and you're in St. Lucie? Come and join this. This has nothing to do with BLP or DLP. Clean water is a basic right for everybody, whether you're of the Barbados Labour Party, the Democratic Labour Party, independent, whatever you are. Clean water is a basic right. And so on Sunday, October 27th at 2 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 2 o'clock, let us serve Barbados in this way. I heard that there are others on other programs and they're telling you don't follow Marcia Weeks. It's not about following Marcia Weeks. I just got off of a meeting there, Dr. Ferdinand, and it was the St. Lucie people there. Yes, because we've done it before. We're facilitating the whole thing, but the people in St. Lucie are the one taking charge, and they're making the decisions on how they want things to go, and they're very passionate about this, and we are following them. So you're not following Marcia Weeks. Forget that kind of nonsense. We're doing this thing together. And so Sunday, we are asking everybody, plan for it. Today's Wednesday, Dr. Ferdy. Today's Wednesday. I'm saying to everybody, plan for it. Plan the time you're going to cook. Bring some lunch in the car. We'll bring a little container with lunch and your water. Let's make a little outing of it. Have your little cooler in the car there, right?
Yes,
And
yes.
get something to drink. No liquor, all right? But get something to drink. Make it fun. Make it fun. Make it a fun experience. You have your little meal there. You have something. You pick up a chicken wing or a piece of chicken you're eating as you're driving, and make it fun and make it comfortable. You have a piece of sweet bread or some fruits. You don't have to always be flour and sugar. But have something there that make it fun. Make it something that you want to, you enjoy. So we're asking everybody to come down to St. Lucie, man. We're one Barbados. And so come on down Sunday, October 27th, 2 o'clock. Now, this is what we're saying. When you're coming, right? This time around, we're asking you to pick up a couple cases of water if you can. Or if you don't want to do that and you have good tap water, like I'm in St. Philip, I have good tap water up here. Fill up some clean bottles. You can buy the clean bottles for like $3 a bottle. Okay? Buy the clean bottles, fill them up with water. Don't use no bottle that had chemicals in there. You understand? Buy clean bottles, empty bottles, fill it up with water, and you can pack up your car with water. Pack up either the cases of water or fill up bottles with your clean water from your house. Do it as though you would be getting the water, all right? Be conscientious about it like you would be getting the water. It is not too late, Dr. Ferdinand, for churches to come together, or your group. It might be a community group, and you say, listen, we want to give some water to the people in St. Lucie, all right? So when you're coming, don't come with an empty car, because that's how we do it. We are not going into anybody's community empty-handed. Right? Normally we would go with some, we bring some non-perishable food items, but no, the people want water. The people want water. So we're not going to go with the non-perishable food items. We're going to go with water. We're not going empty-handed. Yeah? So Stephen Strickland, who was just on the meeting with me, he says, we do not have clean and clear water, but we have beautiful sights and scenes. Come up to St. Lucie on Sunday. I tell you, you're going to have a boss of a time. Right? Because when we come together, we're a family, You see how I miss you all? You see how I miss you all? Listen, when we come together, we're a family. And I agree with Stephen Strickland that the beautiful sights and scenes, it might not have the water, but Barbados is so beautiful. This is paradise, people. So come up to St. Lucie on Sunday, bring some water. Don't come with an empty car. You have water in your house. You drank water in the morning. You bathe. You brush your teeth. Bring some for the people in St. Lucie. That is, that's how we do it. That's how we do it. All right. We're not going to listen to, we're not going to listen to that reverend that you're calling the name. I'm not even going to call that reverend.
Don't even worry. Don't worry.
Yeah, no worry. Don't listen
Lord.
to that person. Just come out and bring the water and bring your lunch. Bring some lunch so that you have something to eat in the car, something to snack on, and let's have a good old time together. Right there in St. Lucie Sunday at 2 o'clock. Now, some of you are saying, "But Marcia, I want to come, but I don't have a car." Guess what? We got you, Judy. Where Judy is? Judy, we got you, Judy. We got you, Judy. So if you want to come, right, Dr. Ferdinand, and you said, "Well, my car isn't working or I don't have a car," we got you. We have a bus that is going to be right there at Independence Square, right in front there where you park your cars, right? Right there where the taxis are sometimes at Independence Square at 12 o'clock. All right, 12 o'clock, the bus is going to be there. All right, to take you to St. Lucie. 12 o'clock. Everybody write 12 o'clock for me now in the chat. 12 o'clock. Tell everybody 12 p.m. 12 noon. The bus is going to be there, and it's going to take you. The bus is going to take you to the St. Lucie Anglican Church. Yes, St. Lucie Anglican Church. And it's going to take you back to Independence Square. And guess how much you have to pay, Dr. Ferdinand? Tell me. Guess.
Has to be about $5.75 or something like that, Marcia.
You think $5.75?
Yeah, it
And
has to be at least
the bus is gonna take you back. You don't have to.
that sounds like $10 now.
Okay. Let me see anybody can guess the price of the bus. So we're 12 o'clock. Thank you, those who write 12 noon sharp. How many of you can guess and tell me how much that bus is gonna cost? Let me see who's gonna guess the right price of that bus. Don't tell me free. Okay? Don't tell me free. I don't see anybody guessing the price of the bus.
They're leaving me. They're hanging me out to dry.
Listen. Somebody said $8.
Somebody said $20,000.
20,000. Square four. Come on. Somebody said free. No. It's well, it's me and Dr. Ferdinand. You are correct. It is $10. Okay, $10. You're going to St. Lucie, and you don't have to stand up and wait on a bus. The bus is there waiting on you. So you get that little, service, and it's going to take you, and it's going to take you back. Okay. So instead of the you pay normally $3.50 to go, $3.50 to come back. If you have to get into town and then take another bus, it would have been more. Okay. So $10. How many of you think that $10 is good? Okay, square four was saying that they mean 20. Okay, so $10. You think $10 is a good price?
Well, I'm seeing people at 10, 7, 15. So I think 10 is an average.
Yeah, and so it's going to be $10. Okay, $10, and the bus holds 35 people. So the first 35, Dr. Fred, if you could put the number again in there, 2367000. The first 35 people that says to me that we want to take that bus, message me. I want to get on the bus. Just get to town, get to Independence Square at 12. Cook your meal and put the food together, man. And let me tell you, this loyal opposition can cook, Listen, Judy Jilks and her family, they had oh Lord, man, that food had looked so good. That food had looked so good. Judy, I tell you, better bring some for me. Yes, but so folks, please, and this is, as we were saying, we think of our service of David Thompson, the kind of servant that he was, the kind of servant leader that he was, because a lot of times, Dr. Freddie, we remember people and we say, oh, they were so great and all of these wonderful things, but we don't realize the kind of legacy that they left,
Yeah.
And so I think that in the spirit of David Thompson, we discuss this tonight, right?
I think it would be nice to, I think this is an opportunity, Marcia, for all of the politicians to show that there are people of service.
Mm-hmm.
Because this motorcade is not a political motorcade.
Yes.
This is a motorcade to contribute to the well-being of the people in St. Lucie, our fellow citizens, our brothers and our
Yes.
sisters. And I think if politicians want to show that they're people of service and that they care about the people of Barbados, I would expect to see all of them from all parties at this motorcade, and not empty-handed either. I would expect to see them with a case of water, a bottle of water, some kind of water, because even though we can be critical, we can say, things need to be done to clean it up and so on. I think to show your presence, that is leadership, Marcia. Leadership is when people get out of their office from behind their desk and get
Mm.
down on the ground where people are in need and serve them. That is leadership. And so I would like to strongly recommend, and I know they're watching this show. They are watching this show. It is clear. Otherwise, the goodly reverend wouldn't have anything to talk about. So obviously, he watches the show. So if you're watching this show today, sir, join us on Sunday evening, 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Bring your vehicle, bring your water, bring your colleagues, invite other people to come and contribute to the well-being of your fellow citizens in Barbados if you really care. That is a demonstration of care.
Yes, yes, yes. I agree with you so much. And as we talk about the type of leadership that is being displayed, we think of what happened just this week, Dr. Ferdinand, in Parliament.
Yes.
And we see how the leader of the opposition was treated, regardless of whether they agreed with him or we're not here to discuss whether they should have agreed with him or not. And but the way he was treated, it's just bad. It's really, in simple terms, I'm just using it's just bad behavior. But we're going to have, I don't know if you told him yet that at 9:30 this evening we're going to have Michael Carrington is going to be with us, and he's a former Speaker of the House for 10 years, and he's going to talk about the protocol and how the House is supposed to be conducted, and a Speaker of the House, what is required. So I want people to know that this is happening, where we're going to address it as we address all of these different issues that come on, that occur. And so he's coming on, is what I want to say, at 9:30. This is Attorney Michael Carrington, who was a Speaker of the House. He will be on as well this evening. So tell people to come on. We want to discuss about what happens, and we're going to learn as well what is the duty of the Speaker of the House and the Deputy Speaker, and what should be the how should they carry themselves. What's the protocol and what's expected and what's the job description, etc. All right, so we're going to talk about that. Anything else about the water that you want to say, Dr. Ferdinand?
Well, just that it's so important. You mentioned about clean water, and one of the things that our Prime Minister um, travels the world champion is sustainable development goals. And the reality is that one of the tenets, the sustainable development pin is a circle with segments in it. It looks almost like slices of a cake. And one of the slices of the cake is clean water, proper water. And I find it such a challenge that you are going to be jet setting around the world to represent sustainable goals, while in your own country, there are people who cannot drink the water from their taps because of the stink that they have in the pipes. And you are champion in sustainable goals. And I wish that that aspect would change, because you can't go out to the international world champion in something that you don't have represented in your homeland. And that's why I thought it was quite ludicrous when the president of Guyana spoke about how how Barbados is seen on the world stage. Barbados is not seen on the world stage. Our prime minister is. And Barbados could only be seen if she could stand on that world stage and say that the things that I represent are being done in my country. And so, if you talk about sustainable goals and sustainable development, of which water is one of the critical components of that sustainable development, then you need to look after water in your own country.
Well, very, very well said. And I wasn't here for all of that, but I know that they are birds of a feather and they flock together. And I know tonight you have some, yeah, they're going to come on and you're going to hear, you're going to hear about the corruption that is unfolding in Guyana, and all of that. And so you see what is going on. It is just that, they have people in, they have more than one person in parliament, Dr. Ferdinand, so they're able to reveal a lot more. We only have Mr. Thorne, who is doing a fantastic job, actually, and that's why we have to support him. But those, they flock together, they move together, they flock together. One more thing on the water, though. If you have water and you're not able to bring it with you on Sunday, we're asking you to take it to Unity Workers Union, right there on Sixth Avenue, building number 5, Sixth Avenue, Belleville. Bring the water, bring your cases of water there, and but you got to do it. Don't bring it on Sunday because we're not going to go there on Sunday. We're going to go on Saturday, right? So Saturday, Friday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. You can bring your water to Unity Workers Union. That's our place. Thank you to Castle Franklin. And that's where you can drop off your water there. All right. So that we can pick up the water. I know that Mrs. Strickland is going to go around and pick up water on Saturday. Right. So that we can have them in St. Lucie, be ready in St. Lucie with the water on Saturday. So if you have water, you can drop it there at Unity Workers Union, right? And you can also drop donations there. Donations, I would say bring the donations on Saturday because you're sure to have someone, a physical person there on Saturday, on Friday, Thursday and Friday to collect the donations. So bring financial donations as well. And you know how we do it as a family. When you're coming, you walk with some donations. The people in St. Lucie, Dr. Ferdinand, it is so wonderful. Just that committee tonight, just by themselves, they were able to raise $650. So they're not trying to do something and not putting their money where their mouth is, right? But they are donating towards this cause, towards the truck, the sound, the and the police permit. They're and right there, those men and women on that call tonight, they were able to come up with $650. All right. But we still, the sound alone is $800. And our regulars, I don't need to come on here and belabor the point. You know what is happening. And we do this together. And that is what they don't understand, Dr. Ferdinand. This is why they say that we're getting money from different sources. No, it is from the people of Barbados. It is from the people, the concerned citizens, the citizenry of Barbados. That's who is providing the funding for all of this to happen, and so, yeah, so definitely, I mean, come out, bring out the children. Remember we talked last week about the boys, the children, how they were giving out the water, Dr. Freddie?
Yes,
So,
I do.
yeah. So we want to invite you to bring your children out and let them get involved. Let them get involved in, distributing the water, etc., etc. I'm hoping that we can get the shirts ready for this trip. I am not sure. I will check tomorrow to see if we can get the shirts ready for them. If you have a child that's coming, I need you to message me 236-7000. Do you have a child that's coming? 236-7000. So we will get sizes for the shirts, so that we are able. We're going to try to get those shirts ready, okay, for them. Yes, and we're going to have this same thing is going to be written on it. Clean water is a basic right. That's what's going to be on the shirt, you know.
That's
Nothing
right.
political at all. That's what's going to be on the shirts of the children. Yeah. Wonderful. Oh, wonderful, wonderful. Yeah, that's what we're doing. So, how many? Let me see while we're waiting, Dr. Ferdinand, for your next guest. So this is you're producing the show tonight. You know, you tell me when to shut up.
Oh, you can keep going for a while. We unfortunately might have lost our next guest, still on the road trying to make it
Okay.
in.
Right,
So
but we
we can
probably
go
can
right
see if
ahead.
Naked, we could probably see if Naked could come in a bit earlier from Trinidad, and he's going to come and talk about some stuff happening in Trinidad. But yeah, but let me see. Okay, so let me see how many of you are coming to St. Lucie. How many of you are going to get in your cars and get down to St. Lucie? How many of you? When it's a march, you tell me, Marcia, I can't walk so much. I can't I can't, it's too much, right? Although we have our pensioners that walk with us, and they have knee problems, but they take the medication and they get out there. But so let me see. Let me hear how many of you. How many of you are going to be in St. Lucie with us on Sunday? Let me see. Come on, man. Give me some thumbs up, man. Huh? Give me some thumbs up. Yeah, so it's just Dave and I will be there, and Dr. Ferdinand with the truck. The three of us. That's not how we do it. So Jacqueline, you live in Saint Philip? Jacqueline, do you live in Saint Philip? Give me a call, please. Okay, Dr. Ferdinand will be there. Matthew Sainsbury will be there. Listen, folks, we're not talking about me and Motley right now. We are talking about who are the people that's going to put on their nice clean clothes, bathe their nice clean skin, right? And cook their nice clean food and get in their nice clean cars and get down with the nice clean water, which is a basic right, down to St. Lucie for the nice clean people of St. Lucie. That's what I am saying. Yeah. So Jacqueline said yes. Okay, Jacqueline, give me a call. Okay, Romeo is going to be there. And it's me. You're going to be there. Listen, man. Listen. Come on. I don't understand you. Three of you? What? We have been
Maybe
promoting this
maybe
for so long.
maybe they don't know how to get the thumbs put up, so that they can just because I just had to search to see how to get my thumb put up too.
You can't put up the thumb.
I
This
was
is
trying
my
to put up my yes. But if you can make it, guys, just said I this type I can make it. If you can't get the thumb up, that's okay. It took me a little while to find my thumb. Ah,
Tamika. Are you coming,
oh dear
Tamika?
me.
If you live in Barbados, look at it. We provide a bus for you, man. If you say you don't have a car, and we look after everybody on this show, right? We move as a family. We provide a bus, huh? And everything, and we still having what, four people? Oh, Tamika is in Brooklyn. Anika, I know Anika gonna be there. Anika will be all up sitting in the front of the truck.
But don't mind they're in Brooklyn. There's still time for them to fly into Barbados. We can get we you can they can still come in time.
Yes. So Judy Dills.
Oh, Tamika. Oh, Tamika. Oh, dear me.
Okay, I know some people don't want to, there's such a fear in this country. Some people don't want to actually write down
Sad.
anything.
Sad. So sad.
Yeah, yeah, yes, yes. Oh, good. So people are saying they're coming. I understand. I understand. I can make it. Yes, 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 yes. Okay, Peter King is overseas, so he'll be there. Only the people who are overseas that we are going to say that, right? But if you're here, right? Yes, yes. Okay, so Judy, remember to call the gentleman that I asked you to call. Okay. Okay, all right. So I'm just responding to someone on my phone. Yeah, it's a Sunday excursion, man. Joel
Well,
King
I
said,
tell you,
God willing.
I haven't been on one of those in ages. A Sunday, I haven't even heard that word in ages. Thank you,
Excursion.
Anika. Excursion. Oh my goodness.
I love that idea, though. Listen, listen. If
Wow.
if it- if that bus was going to get down there, I would have come up on the bus with them. Man, we would have so much fun on that bus, Dr. Purdy. But I'm going down a bit earlier than everybody else, so I won't be on the bus, but I would have been on the bus with them going down. We would have so much fun going down on that bus. Listen, I
Uh,
will probably go live on the bus. I'll think about it and see if I'll come up with
yeah,
them on the
it
bus.
would be it would be so nice to Marcy if it was that bus like the old Rockland buses that we used to have to hang on the side. You could probably carry
Ah,
a few.
yes,
Ah, dear
yes,
me.
yes,
But let's enjoy it, folk. Let's come and enjoy it. It's a fun evening. You'll get to meet some people that you may never have met before, and actually might get to see some people that you know that you didn't know
yes.
lived in St. Lucie.
Mm-hmm.
And St. Lucie is a beautiful place. I remember the number of years we consistently visited River Bay. I know many of you all. We used to do a lot of our in the school Christian fellowship camps at River Bay,
Mm-hmm.
and it was a beautiful area, and we had so much fun. A lovely beach area. We ran and we had lots and lots of fun, and that was the days when fun was outside and not sitting on a device.
Right.
But so many of us, the Animal Flower Cave, and that area by the Animal Flower Cave, Marcia, where you had to, there were certain times that you couldn't go down in the cave because
Ah.
there was the cave has an entrance on one side and an exit on the other. And
Mm-hmm.
there were a couple of times that one or two tourists got swept out to sea from the cave,
Mm-hmm.
because the water, as high as the cave is on the cliff, on the face of the rock, the water used to come right up and
Ah.
through, just rush right through one of the holes and go straight through and go out through the next. And there's some people who didn't listen, I guess, to the warnings and so on as to when you should be there and when you should not be. But I remember the days, Marcia, standing on the edge of the cliff and getting wet because of the waves that slammed onto the rocks.
Yes.
But it is a beautiful area. St. Lucie is a beautiful, beautiful parish, and fresh. You get the fresh breeze. The people are wonderful. It's going to be a tremendous evening, and I want to encourage all of you and share. Folks, share it on your Facebook page, share it on your social media platform, wherever you are, and let your friends, your family join us Sunday evening, the 27th. That's this Sunday coming. 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and let it be a break from all of your hectic schedule. You're at work Monday through Friday, and then Saturday you spend the whole time domestic cleaning, washing, fixing the house. You go to church on Sunday morning, and let's take the Sunday afternoon to just relax and come out and bless the people in St. Lucie.
Yes, 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 yes. Most definitely. I see more people are going to come. Tamika is saying, make it a fun time, helping people, meeting some new faces, spreading love, and some laughter in between. Put a smile on some faces. Tamika, oh, wonderful. That's
Yes.
wonderful. And it's people
Yes.
helping people. That's the whole thing. We are working together to help each other. And a lot of times, yes, we come on and we must hold the government accountable. Dr. Ferdin was speaking about that tonight, but at the end of the day, we're going to take care of each other. We're going to take
Absolutely.
care of each other, because I should not have water here in St. Philip, and my brothers and sisters in St. Lucie don't have any. And it's rare, it's a very rare event for us, our water to be off in St. Philip. And I can just imagine where you can't flush your toilets, you can't do water to drink, I mean, it's tough. So you want to make sure, you want to make sure that we're sharing. All right, so everybody come out, and this whole thing about them trying to tell you that this is a DLP thing, nonsense.
No,
Nonsense.
no, no,
The
no, no, no,
DLP
no.
is doing something. We are doing something, and no, there's no problem with us working together with the DLP. Listen, if the BLP wants to come, they can come.
They can come. They can come.
Tell Peter
Yes,
Phillips tonight in the
absolutely.
meeting. The people say if Peter Phillips wants to come and speak on the truck, Peter Phillips can speak on the truck. Mr. Peter Phillips, you are listening. Come and talk to the people. You can come and explain to the people actually why you think that they should not stop paying their water bills or whatever your view is. Come and talk to the people of St. Lucie from the truck. Those of you who are listening, call Peter Phillips and tell him he can come and talk to the
He's
people.
welcome. He's welcome.
You understand? You can bring the Prime Minister to talk to the people of St. Lucie. It is not partisan. Okay? You want to bring who else you want to bring? You want to bring Mr. Thorne? Tell Mr. Thorne he can come and hop on the truck and speak.
Just one thing though, Marcia, they have
Uh-huh.
to bring water.
Yes.
They have to bring water. If they want to speak, you have to bring water. If you don't bring water, you don't speak.
Correct. Yeah. Mr. Thorne can come and speak. The young Dens
Certainly,
can come and
certainly.
speak. The anybody from the you want to speak, call us and test us. You test it. I'm telling you. That's what the gentleman on told me tonight. That's what they told me, not what I told them, what they told me. And that's a
But
beautiful thing about it. This was one of the easiest event that I've had to plan, Doctor, get involved in, because the citizens of St. Lucie are involved. And you can't stop the passion of the people of St. Lucie. They are so passionate because they know what they have to live. You see, they know what they have to live. So Peter Phillips, come on, sir. Bring some water, man. Bring some water and come and join us.
yes, bring your colleagues, bring your parliamentary colleagues. Let's all get together. I know Mr. Thorne, there's a standing invitation for Mr. Thorne and members of his party. Come join us and let's be citizens of Barbados. For once, let us lay aside our political caps and our political connections, and let's serve one another. And that's the key thing, Marcia, service. That's what it's all about. It's serving the people. And that's what we are going to be doing. And may I add, Marcia, that we've just recently, I was making the point because I know there's always the attempt to isolate yourself and point at you and so on. But I made the point that you don't see 30 or 40,000 people sitting in the House of Assembly. You only see one person who represents them. So you are actually a representative of the people. And so when they see you, when they see me, or Maxine, or Glenn, or any one of us, in truth and in fact, what you're seeing are thousands of people, not just a singular person. We represent thousands of people who want us to be their voice, and that's what we are. So when people think that they're, focusing in on you or attacking you, in truth and in fact, they are attacking 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70,000 people in the country. So it's not about Marcy, it's not about Ferdinand, it's not about Dave, it's not about Maxine, it's about the loyal opposition and the people of this country. That's what it's all about.
Correct. And so it's about service. The Prime Minister talked about the complaining. And that's one of the things, that we do on the show, Dr. Ferdinand. We speak about the issues because you hit a man, the man gonna scream out. You understand? You hit the man, right? The man is gonna scream out. The woman is gonna scream out and say, "Oh Lord, my foot, my hand hurting me." We're gonna scream out, and we come on the show and we scream out on the show. Yes, we do. But you know what? We also do. We gather around and we help that one that is screaming out. We gather
That's right.
around and
That's right.
it's there. It's all the time. It's there. We gather around and we help the one that is screaming out. And that's what's happening on the show. So this is not a show of complaining. This is not a show where we only put out the issues, but we come on here and we help one another. There was a lady, I believe she needed water for her, or a special kind of water, Dr. Ferdinand. I asked her to call you because I wasn't here. And I know that that was organized. Was it organized so the lady
Yes,
to,
absolutely. As a matter of fact, Marcia, there were people. One lady called me actually, and she had water for her. And when I got to collect the water because she couldn't get to bring it to us, so I said, okay, we'll come and collect it. When I got there, she had actually more water than she said she had because her
mm,
boss in the company heard about it. And the boss gave her a check so that when she went to get her water, she could get an additional huge one of these huge bottles of water. And she didn't even hear it from the show. She heard it from someone who was on the show. And when we got down there, she had this water there for us, and we called the young lady, and she happened to be on the road at the time. She came by and she collected it. And we've been on the show. We've been encouraging people to maintain, until we can make sure everything is okay with her. Maintain that commitment because we indicated that we would have liked to have helped as much as we can, possibly if possible on a monthly basis, that type of thing. So, and of course, we'll try to help anyone. That's what the show is about. There's, you made an appeal for a wheelchair, and I think you also made an appeal for a fridge, I think, as well, Marcia. And I
mhm.
saw earlier on the chat that someone has found you a fridge.
Oh, wow. Awesome.
Yes,
And we
they
got a
found you a
stove.
fridge.
That means we've got now the fridge and we've gotten a stove. We got a before I left, we got a fridge for the lady with that feeds the homeless. I'm wondering if she got it yet. I tried to make the arrangements for just before I went off. So this is a show, and this is a testament, money, to the people, a testament, I should say. Is that the right word?
Yeah.
To the people of Barbados and the kindness. So don't you let that prime minister try to make it sound like you're a bunch of complainers. No, you are practical people. And if you're hungry, you're gonna cry out. So you tell the prime minister the reason you are complaining is because your things are hard with you. It's tough with you. You complain, and it is because people let us know what is happening to them. We don't tell the people stop complaining on the show, Dr. Ferdinand. We
No.
reach out and we help them. The woman needed help with her child who just had brain surgery. You're gonna tell her she's complaining because she doesn't have the money to buy the water that she needs? No, we don't tell her she's complaining. We go in our pockets and we buy the water for her.
But
That's what we do. The woman says, I can't move around. I need a wheelchair. Guess what? Somebody come with a brand new wheelchair and give to the woman. Yeah? Uh,
we do that so much, Marcia. And I know of people personally, that speak with us, that go to the social services facility for the government, and they have to wait weeks, Marcia, to receive assistance. And some people come and express to us. We put it here on the show, and within a day or two there's a response from the loyal opposition, people who are giving things. And we've made several appeals, and I think it would be in place for us to say to you all as a loyal opposition, to thank you for caring. Thank
yeah.
you for caring for your brothers and sisters in your country, and not waiting for somebody else to do it, but you care enough. And that's what it's about, Marcia. You were talking about service, serving each other, and so many people in this loyal opposition have been demonstrating that.
Yes. And I want to say, because it's going to come up and people are going to say, but I want you to hear it from me and hear it from Dr. Ferdinand today on the show. And you know that when we come on here, we're going to tell you the truth. And I want you to know that you see that trip to Washington, Dr. Ferdinand, they need to understand what has occurred with that trip to Washington that is happening, where we are going there to represent you. I'm sure Dr. Ferdinand would have been speaking about it in my absence. And I want them to know that it is the people. There's no company that is paying for the tickets to go to
No,
Dr. Ferdinand.
no,
It's people. It's people that are putting money to pay airline tickets and hotel.
that's right.
I am
And
telling you, people are from this same show. People from this same show, let me tell you, Barbadians are fed up and they are tired and they're putting their money where their mouth is. And I challenge the Prime Minister to do the same thing. You listen to the complaints of your people and do something about it. And don't tell them that they love to complain. Don't tell them that they love to complain. Once again, you're trying to shut them up. Once again, you're trying to put to cover their mouths. They're screaming out in pain, and you tell them, "Shut up! You're complaining too much." But the people of Barbados are helping the people of Barbados. They do not want free speech to be curtailed in this island. They don't
right,
want free speech to be taken from the people of this country. And people have put up thousands of dollars, not 1,000, not 2,000. But people have put up thousands of dollars to pay for airline tickets, Dr. Ferdinand, and hotel rooms. Huh? I am telling you what I know. So when you see us when you see the people in Washington, that's going to be in Washington, and they're going to think that there is somebody, a person behind this lies. I want you to you use your social media and let them
let
know
them
that
know.
that's lies.
We are not getting handouts from the 535 million US dollars deposited in the oil bank in Guyana. We are not getting anything from that. And remember, I told you all that I am not prophesying, I predict that a lot of that money is going to circulate in Barbados in the next general election. I guarantee you that. 585 million US dollars, and you'll hear some about it later on tonight. But we are getting nothing. We don't have a George Soros behind us. We don't have an open foundation behind us. We have the people, the loyal opposition, the people of Barbados. And Marcia, we represent thousands of Barbadians. I mean, Marcia, thousands of Barbadians. I am just stunned everywhere I go. People are saying the same thing. Keep up the good work. Thank you for speaking out for us. Everywhere I turn in this country, that is what I hear. And it's so important for us to realize, that this is what it's all about. We are representing the citizens of Barbados. That's what we're doing. And there are those who are going to be going up to represent the government. Interestingly enough, Marcia, the government is supposed to be the representative of the people of Barbados, but we, the people of Barbados, have to go up to represent the people of Barbados. What irony!
And they're taking so much of our tax money. We have never been
Yeah,
taxed before like this ever in the history of Barbados. I want the Barbadians to understand. We've gone through that with you on the show, and we've shown you that they are burdening us with taxes more than any other government in Barbados. And listen, we are going to Washington, and as Dr. Ferdinand has rightly said, we're not getting any money, no borrowed money from no United Nations. Nobody is paying. The people are putting their hands in their pockets, and they're saying, "Marcia, I came home one evening and looked at my phone. Somebody said, 'Listen, Marcia, what you talking about? You don't have, the who this, you don't have airfare, you don't have whatever. Here it is. The people are giving, and that doesn't mean I know we are not putting the names of those who are
no,
going and are
no,
speaking out there, but I'm
no.
saying to you is that they are willing to pay the fare, the airfare. The people of Barbados, they're putting up thousands of dollars to make sure we didn't have to beg a whole lot either. You understand,
And,
Dr. Purdy?
and you know what else, Marcia? None of us are getting anything out of this. Not a single person is getting I think it's all being done I think they call it pro bono. Is
Mm-hmm.
that what they call it? I mean,
Yes.
there's nobody that is receiving from who are going. Nobody is receiving anything. Nobody wants anything from those who are going to be representing the people of Barbados at that meeting with the Commission. No, none of them will be representing, will be receiving anything.
That is so true, and I like to be honest with our people, and and let them know, what is happening, so that when you see people there in Washington, you understand, because they have a way to send out a propaganda machine, and they're going to do that with this particular issue with Washington. I want you to understand that already they have started to put out a propaganda machinery about this, because it is going to be one in the media. You hear what I tell you? Listen to me, Barbadians. Listen, they have already hired their people to spin this in different ways. Okay? And I want to tell you, I know Dr. Ferdinand would have dealt with this, but let me just also add my bit to it, that there's no way that the Inter-American Commission on Human Rights would be inviting citizens from
Correct.
Barbados to go to come to a hearing if there was nothing to hear. Why would they
That's
waste
correct.
time?
Correct.
Barbadians, think for yourself, please. When the people in your workplace say, "Oh, it's those troublemakers that are doing this thing," and they're the ones that are have gone to the Inter-American Commission on Human Rights. Listen, tell your co-workers to think about it. Why would such an organization waste their time if there wasn't something to hear?
And you know what? You know what else too, Marcia? My understanding from my investigations is that this is the first time that the Inter-American Commission on Human Rights is meeting since the pandemic, and this is the first meeting that they're going to be entertaining for the
Yeah,
next.
because they were meeting, but
Yeah,
they were doing it on Zoom. So
but
this is the
yes, they were
first.
doing it virtually, first face
Yeah,
to face. And it begins on the specific date. I think the press showed the 11th of November. I think it was in the press, and from that day on till down in the 15th, I think, of the 16th, 17th, they're going to be entertaining different presentations from different persons, and the very first one that they have invited is Barbados.
it's Barbados. And
Barbados.
listen. This media thing is so important. And what you have to understand, you see the diaspora. How many of you are Barbadians watching me from, and you live in America? You live anywhere in the USA, anywhere in the US diaspora. You're a diaspora in the USA. Message me, because I want you to put that on the screen if you can. Because one of the things that's happening, Dr. Ferdinand, which is so amazing, is that people in the diaspora are not just sending money, but they're saying, "Listen, Marcia, we are
They're
taking a
coming.
flight and we're
Yeah,
going down to
they're
Washington."
going.
I
They're
have
going.
people who are leaving from New York. People who are leaving from Florida. Barbadians are leaving and they're saying, "We're not home, but we are connected to what is happening." And they said, "Oh, not over dead bodies will they take free speech from the people of Barbados. Not over dead bodies will they lock up Barbadians." The diaspora, the Barbadians are taking flights and driving down and booking hotels. Do you hear me? You hear what I tell you? They are. In fact, someone from Washington said to me, "Dr. Ferdinand, is there a flyer? Can I get a flyer so that I can invite more Barbadians to come and sit in the audience?" And what I want to tell the Barbadians that are coming, wear your national colors, citizens of
Yes.
Barbados. If you're in the diaspora and you're coming to that Washington hearing, wear your national colors, because we are only defending the people of Barbados. As
That's right.
Dr. Ferdinand says, the people who are going, when they sit there, there are thousands of people. And so we make up those thousands and come and sit down in that hearing. It's going to be on November 11th, which is a holiday in the US, actually. It is a holiday. And that's why some people are driving down, they're flying down, they're booking hotels, and they're coming down because they care. This is our Barbados. And they care about Barbados, right? So I'm saying, Marie Watson, live in the US. Marie, message us 236-7000. Let us make a big outing of it. And what we want to do is to come together at the end in the evening before you all go back. We're gonna meet together. We're going to tell you those details. We're putting together a meeting for all the people in the diaspora. We're going to have our own roadside parliament up there in Washington. We're
All
going to
right.
have it. We're
Yes,
going to
yes.
have it. We're going to have our own roadside parliament in Washington, I tell you, on the evening of November 11th, when we are finished with the hearing. So listen, we're going to have a fantastic time together right there in Washington. You think it's easy? You don't know it's Bajan with Bajan, you know. You think it's
Well,
easy?
I tell you, I think, Marcia, what you're doing is that quite a number of these people are going to try to get on a flight and come up with us.
Listen, we
Oh
take
my
in the fight.
goodness.
There are people from Haiti. I contacted people from Haiti, and they are getting involved. They told me, they call me Marcia. Marcia, what do you want? We're gonna come. We're gonna dress up and come to the hearing. Before I asked them to come, they said, "Listen, are we bringing some more Haitians with us?" Yeah, our Kenyan friends there in Washington, they are coming down, and I'm going. I'm going to tell them, you're coming. You gotta wear Bajan colors. You know. So listen, folks. This is important. I was just in Poland, Dr. Ferdinand, as you know, and as I was speaking there, I told the people about the cybercrime bill. All these countries of the world, as I stood before them. And people were shocked when I talk about 10 years and I explain it's 50,000 US dollars. People almost fall off their chairs. They think we're living in a dictatorship. And you know what the people said to me, Dr. Ferdinand? When they are finished, you won't have an opposition in your country. They're going to shut down the opposition. People like Mr. Thorne, they can lock up and put in prison.
I tell you.
This is what we don't understand about this thing, you know. Yeah. What you think that this is an easy thing? You think that the Inter-American Commission on Human Rights don't know that we could end up without an opposition in Barbados if this law is supposed to be, if this is to be bill is to be passed into law? You think that they have time to waste? But I tell you this, whatever they're going to come with, the point is this, that we had an international body hear what it is that we have to say. They read it and then they say, listen, we want it to come before us and we want you to say it, right? And Trevor Blackman is saying it is their birth date and they will be in Long Island. Well, happy birthday. Come over and celebrate the birthday with us. November
Yes.
11th, Trevor Blackman, come over, drive over from New York, man, and come and you probably can do it together, carpool with those who are coming over from New York. Yes. And let's have a grand time there in Washington. We are going and we understand what it's all about and what we are doing. So everybody make sure that you are coming on, that you're going to be in Washington. Those of you in the diaspora now, you have an opportunity to be part of something great, and people who say, well, you're making the country look bad. No, making the country look bad, but the country is the people. Barbados is the people, you realize that? So when they lock up all the people and put them in jail, all our young people in jail and charging all of us, $100,000 and 10 years in jail, what are we doing to the people? What is the reputation that we're trying to hold up here? What's the reputation we're trying to hold up here when our people are suffering? And that is what that's part of what the Prime Minister is now telling people, to stop complaining. You mean, when I think about this thing, you mean you're beating the people? You have the people under sufferation. Some people hungry. Huh? People have lost relatives. due to crime and violence in this country, and the people are crying out, and you going to then turn around as like a slave driver and a slave master and tell the people to stop complaining? What could go like this? You beat the people, you starve them out, you take us something and tie around their mouth and tell them they can't speak. And then you're going to look now and tell them they can't scream out, they can't complain. You sound to me like you're a slave driver. You sound to me like you're massa. You sound to me that you think we're on a plantation. You sound to me that you think that we are still in slavery. That's what it sounds to me. It sounds like it's slavery time all over again for you. It sounds to me that you're trying to set this thing all up again with all the characters. You have the massa, you have the slave drivers. Huh? But I want to tell you that what you're setting up, that little play that you're setting up with all these characters, is not going to work. You will be massa all by yourself, but we're not submitting to be in any slaves.
No, we're off the plantation. We're off the plantation.
This is no plantation. So if anybody watching, you go back and you tell that massa, this is no plantation, that you're going to tell us that we squeal too much. Huh? We're making too much noise. We're making too much noise after you suffer. We're going through sufferation.
Marcia, look who I found in the back office, in the back room. Look who I found. Look who I found. Look. Oh my goodness. Maxine, look who's on the show with us tonight. You recognize this lady?
Oh wow. You're
muted. You're muted.
Hi, good night. You're asking me if I recognize Marcia?
Yeah, you remember that lady there?
Well, I'll tell you something. I'm sorry to interrupt your speech, Marcia, but I want to say to Pastor Ferdinand and to everybody that today is a special day. It's a day of beginnings and endings. I'll start with the ending and then I'll go to the beginning. I think I saw in the some reference to David Thompson, and people know that we lost my former boss, my leader of our political party, Prime Minister of Barbados. I think it's like 14 years ago now. But and we will never forget him. But I want to remember the beginning. And are you wondering why Marcia looks so nice tonight? Pastor Ferdinand, you will do it this time.
I thought it was her birthday.
For me.
You want me to sing it again?
Yes, because I wasn't here.
You weren't here. Okay. All right. I can do that. Let me clear my throat.
Thank you, Miss McLean.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you.
I'm blushing.
Happy birthday, dear Marcia. Happy birthday to you.
Thank you very much.
I receive it on Miss McLean's behalf. So she's a special person to me. So I received that. Yes, go ahead, Miss McLean.
No, I was saying I had to say that because and you deserve to have it sung twice, because for many people they do not work on their birthday, and for somebody who is doing this kind of voluntary work to spend your birth evening.
Yes.
Birth night with the loyal opposition and the people of Barbados and beyond. But yes, we had a good day. If I'm going the last time. So I really wanted to say happy birthday to you. I missed the beginning, so I wasn't sure if they were aware, but I'm sure it wasn't a secret. I got a call asking if it was, and I had to verify, but I want to thank you, and I know you've just come from a hectic trip, short but very busy, and you look like the birthday girl tonight.
Well, thank you, but this is a cup of coffee, And
Mm.
as I was on a meeting at 6 o'clock. I said, "Listen, I am dragging, but I gotta go to this I have to go on to talk about the water tonight, and I was between two minds, Dr. Purdy. Lord, can I make it? And I said, oh yeah, I have some coffee that I brought back, little sachet, because my coffee here is finished. So I went and got a cup of coffee. But I'm driven by service, and I remember the other person that you want to talk about, and I would let you talk about him, but that service is what drives me, Miss McLean. And I see people like yourself, Dr. Ferdinand, Caswell Franklin, and this particular person that you want to talk about. But let me let you do the honors.
No, what I want to talk about you. I mentioned late Prime Minister David Thompson, because he would have left us on this day.
Yes.
I think he would have been only 48, but I would simply say that, um, for me, as somebody who knew him from the time he was a schoolboy, and I used to see him on the school bus, etc. I think he lived what I call it double time. The amount of things he was able to cover in that 48 years really is, a testimony to the kind of contribution that people can make, because he was involved in things cultural and debating and at his school and all of these things before, and spent about 25 or so years or more in active politics. So I would just say to people, if you have a contribution to make, you make it in different ways. But it's about you this afternoon, this evening, tonight. When Dave comes around, there was a picture I shared with him, with Dave, which would have been given to me by someone working within the ministry, in one of our overseas offices, and it's a photograph of the late Prime Minister. It's kind of, has information that I treasure. So if Dave gets around and he can share that, I would just share that. But I really want to say to Barbadians, having recognized the contribution, late David Thompson, Honorable Prime Minister, for a short period, but as a young man, he would have, and as a boy, as I said, I'm repeating myself, he would have been very involved in many areas, of school and public life. I don't know if Barbadians appreciate the contribution that you are making, Marcia, because I think it is important to say these things. Or that's it there. Somebody did that after he left us, and it's something that I treasure, because it really tells us, well, gives us a bit of information, but it just reminds me that life is, and I never say gone too soon. I never say that, Pastor Ferdinand.
Did she stop?
Yeah, I think it looks that way. She might have to
Yeah.
go to come back in.
Right. Yeah. See if you can message her.
Yeah, hey, she's back.
Okay. Go ahead,
You're
Miss
you're
McLean.
back.
Yes,
Yeah,
I guess I cut out for a minute. So I was
yes,
just saying,
yes.
I was just sharing that. And there's one other photograph I want David. Let me David. Yeah, Dave. He's not Dave. We call him Dave. To um to share with you. It was a something that, as a photograph, I took this picture. Marcia, I remember this was a sunset once. I was coming home from, my brother's house in St. James, just
Wow,
beyond Jordan's. And
wow,
it is something, I hope you like it, Marcia, because I will say
Yes.
beautiful.
public, I will print it and frame it, and it is your birthday gift from me.
Ah, oh,
Oh,
thank you. It's
wow,
beautiful. I was just here
wow.
getting lost in it, really.
It's
So,
beautiful.
so sometimes you started sailing solo, standing
Ah,
in front of the Ministry of Education. Well, not solo, because Dave was always there, whatever. Standing in front of the ministry. Remember those days?
yes.
And
I
now, look
remember.
what.
I
Go ahead,
remember
Pastor
Maxine
Ferdinand,
standing. I remember seeing her standing solo in front of the nation
as well.
building. Yeah,
Um,
I never
and the
saw the
Ministry
one
of
at the
Education.
ministry, but the one at the nation. Yes.
So So you see that's the beginning, but now I will have to find one with a whole
Whole lot
flotilla.
of ships. You have to have a whole lot of ships.
So
Wow, this is
for me
very,
there's some
I love it.
symbolism. Well, I am happy you did, because I just took it with my camera, my phone, the camera on my phone. But it was just something, and there's a history to that, because some of us work and we don't get to appreciate sunsets and so on. So that's a little message to you, that you got to take some time to do these things. Anyhow,
Yes.
enough said. I
Yes,
was
no, but I'm taking it all in, and I'm taking what you're saying, all in. And I tried on my trip to get some rest as well. As though although I was working, I tried to get some rest and to see some of Poland and the beautiful sights and so on. And it was beautiful. Again, trying. Dave told me make sure you get some rest, so I tried to do that. And I missed everybody, but it was also important for me not to be on for that week. And you guys, I mean, does a teamwork? How can we not do this with everybody? Yourself, Miss McLean, and of course Dr. Ferdinand, leading the way, and Dave, and everybody, Klein Murray. I call everybody's name already: Rose Corbin, Nigel, and Newton, and everybody who came on, plus the people, who were all on, to make it happen, because it's much more than Marcia. But this, I love pictures and I love art, that. So this is speaking to me in so many ways. I can see, I could write a whole thing on just this picture.
go right ahead. Maybe a couple end of the movie.
Yes, this picture speaks to me, and I would really, really love it. I received this as a birthday present from Miss McLean. It means a lot, that's the sun coming through there. Oh wow, this is speaking in so many ways. And that lone ship on, sailing. But then so many, no, we gone to St. Lucie and have a motorcade,
All right.
So
Yes.
yeah. Yes, Shakwani and Kimar, they said, was on as
Yes.
well.
Yes. Yes.
Thank you, Judy. Thank you, Judy. I don't know everybody who's on, but I mean, this is just so awesome. And I remember when I got the news. I believe it was about 2 o'clock in the morning that I got the news about the prime minister. And I was saying earlier that how I cried. I was in my bed. I'll never forget it. And I said, why did it happen on my birthday? I was crying. I cried. I cried. I cried. I cried. And I was one of those who went down to St. John. They had because we were going to have a prayer meeting for him in St. John.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, that thing was so sad. And I went there. And then when they had the funeral, I was saying earlier that I could not watch the funeral. I was ironing the children's clothes, and I refused to watch that funeral. I was crying because he had done so much in the short time, and I just met him, never met him in person, but just admired him from afar, and to see that he was gone, it was very, very sad. But I voted myself, there again, what can I do for Barbados? Yeah.
Oh, thanks, Tamika.
Yes.
Yeah, actually, it's something that I started to do, as I said, the sunset. And I mean, I don't want to get into talking about me, but I started taking pictures just one day sitting where I'm sitting right now, an evening, and the sun came through, and I just got up and went upstairs. But then it dawned on me that it was years that I did not come home before dark. I was working and I left the office on an ongoing basis after dark. So it was, but I
Wow.
just, so we really think, I just want to say though, as you mentioned the funeral, it was my honor to have been asked to coordinate the state funeral for David Thompson. I will never forget the occasion. This is when he was very ill. And I was asked by the cabinet secretary at the time, she has now passed as well, Mrs. Gollop, to come and see her. And she said to me, basically, as you know, you can see, and you've heard the prime minister is not very well. And by that time, I guess people had a sense of what was going to happen. And she said, I just wanted to tell you that I propose to recommend to Prime Minister Stewart that you be asked to coordinate the funeral. And so, like you, I got a call at 2 something in the morning from the Prime Minister to tell me of Prime Minister Thompson's passing. And at 6 o'clock, I was reporting to government headquarters to start the task. So it's for me, it was a difficult one, but it was a task that had to be done, and I really appreciated the respect shown to him and his family on that occasion. But this is a happy time now. As we mourn people, we also celebrate their contributions. But I also believe firmly that we have to celebrate contributions as they are being done and given. So to you, Marcia,
Yes.
again, as I said, for me, in my family, we happen to have a lot of people born in May, and we lost relatives in May, including both my parents. And I always describe it as beginnings, a month of beginnings and endings. So your birthday is one of beginnings, and you are beginning to even grow more in terms of your contribution and your impact, because, you know, if you look at the many facets to your life, and you will have to sit and listen to this. I know you would prefer to be talking about water in St. Lucie, but sometimes it's important to stop and reflect. And I really hope that, you see, we get all the partisan politics, and I don't refer to things, when I talk about politics is an aspect of our life. Partisan politics is something else. But we get the partisan positions and the personal pettiness, let me put it that way. I guess you say I have a love for alliteration, so you know, but when you separate all of that and look at the facts, there are not a lot of people who can or will be willing to give the kind of and make the kind of sacrifice that you make. Because people, I mean, and it annoys me because I know the truth, you know, and persons like Pastor Ferdinand, we know that we do this out of a love of country. We know that nobody pays Marcia to do it. And in fact, given her competencies and skills, if she were to step away from this and go and do things that make money, you know, she would get, but it is all is not about material things and so on. And at the end of the day, I can tell you, and you can remind me when this program started, when you used to have 10 and 15 people live and in the morning, and then it will be repeated on CMC it is, Caribbean Media Corporation, and so on, and see the evolution of this and the impact that it is having on the lives of Barbadians, whether it is about helping individuals in need, whether it is educating Barbadians to the issues that we are challenged with, functioning as an opposition in a situation where we had no formal opposition, and engaging regionally and internationally on issues that are of importance to our people. So when you think about that's significant, and certainly for me, I am motivated to make my contribution because I have seen closer, and I've spoken to you. And the other side, Pastor Ferdinand, which you know, which I'm sure you're proud of, is that Marcia is a very spiritual, I don't say religious, I say spiritual person. And I've seen it in action, that spirituality and that faith in action. In fact, that's the basis on which she does things. You know?
I was actually just about to say what you're looking at is a woman of faith.
Exactly.
You know, and that's what it's all about, you know, believing in what you are doing and knowing that there is, and I say this respectfully, knowing there is a higher power, of course, whom we know in a very personal way, that's got your back. And
Yes.
very often I keep saying to people, be careful how you tangle with us, because we know who's got our back, and you don't want to cross swords with him. He's an awesome enemy to have, and that's the confidence that Marcia emanates. There's a confidence she carries, not in herself. And you know that it's not in herself, because just like Barbados, she's punching way above her weight, in a real sense. But
Yeah.
Marcia, we have a special guest joining us this evening. Oh my goodness, Honorable Carita MacDonald. I hope
Wow.
I don't, Marcia. I hope I don't have to do this a third time. Okay, but, but Honorable Carita MacDonald, today is Marcia's birthday, her 15th
Wow.
birthday. Okay,
Wow.
it's her 15th
15,
birthday.
only 15.
Only 15 today,
50
and
Australia.
yeah.
Not to worry. Not to worry. Look, good night to all of you. When I was looking there, I'm
Hello.
seeing Marcia and I'm saying, wow, something special about her this evening. Something special about her. Look, Marcia is 15 today. Don't bother with the holidays and the Sundays, and so it's just 15. And that's good. That's good with me.
And I must tell you all, what is it that what is he saying? I am the thorn, you all are the roses. Because I can't say the other way around. I have to be the thorn.
And
Oh my goodness!
I
Well, welcome, welcome,
thank
welcome.
you so much, family. Good night to all of you. Good night. Good night.
Uh,
Look,
Good
just
night.
share this live and let everyone know that we're on, and you should be tuned in too, so you can learn quite a lot of what's happening in Barbados and what's happening in Guyana, your sister country. And while I listened earlier, I'm hearing you talk about Marcia and how spiritually connected she is, and I'm saying that's a fact. As a matter of fact, if it weren't for my own personal connection, I'm not sure where I would have been. They maybe the guns, the handcuffs, and all of that would have been behind me. But like everything else, we are connected and we know who got our backs. And
that's
so
right.
we can
That's right.
speak freely without having
Yes.
to worry, that, oh, this person will say this and that person will say that and the other person. And they can throw some stones. They will always throw stones, but we have a mandate. And that's what we're here to ensure that we fulfill that mandate.
Correct. Correct.
Well, it's so good to have you joining us tonight. We know you have a lot to say in a very short space of time. I tell you, so it's really great to have you. She's going to be sharing with us on some of the things that are happening in Guyana, how it plays out where Barbados is concerned. Of course, your president was just here over the weekend
Mm.
as the special speaker at the BLP conference, the Government Political Party Conference. And I don't know if you know what was said and some of the responses you would have heard, but certainly your thoughts are there for the input that he would have brought to the country over the weekend. So let me step back and give you the floor. Don't have it for a very long period of time, but I know that you're going to fill us in on so many things.
Well, you know what? Very often I don't listen to Irfan Ali, who's sitting as the president of Guyana, because many, many times I have one policy. I don't know if it's because I grew up with my grandparents, but I have one policy: treat people the way you want them to treat you. Um, and if you live by that, then almost everything will go right. I can't deal with people who are fake, and your friend Ali is fake. And so is his good friend who happens to be your prime minister. They're all fake. They tell you one thing now and then they say something else at another time, or they can't remember that they said that to you. List Irfan Ali coming to Barbados to speak to the people in Barbados. But Irfan Ali, the things he speak to you about, it's not happening he's not practicing that in Guyana. It's totally the opposite. So when they come and they put on this big fanfare and all this makeup to make them look good, huh? I can't deal with them. Earlier, I was saying to some folks, Guyana is at its lowest. With all the oil that we're having, Guyana is at its lowest right now. As we speak, there is confusion in the Guyana police force. With the hierarchy of the Guyana police force, an assistant commissioner of police is in battle right now with the very police force. That one man, well, this is the guy who is a quartermaster, and there's a whole lot of corruption going on there. But the assistant commissioner that we're talking about is Mr. Brutus. This guy alone has $800 million. This is an assistant commissioner of police, 800 million Guyana dollars. He was able to purchase a property for $86 million, I think the property cost. And his salary is just about 400 and something thousand dollars, which is about what, maybe 4,000 US, somewhere there, or 2,000 US, somewhere there. Just over 2,000 US, and he was able to buy a property for $86 million. This is the young man who, a couple of years ago, the police forces the commission for the police force that allows for promotion and so on. The chairman of that commission and the commissioners then said, this very young man should not be promoted. You know what Irfan Ali and the others did? They cut short the life of that commission. Heading that commission was an assistant commissioner, a retired assistant commissioner of police by the name of Paul Slow.
Yes.
And there were some other police officers who were part and parcel of that commission. They said then that Brutus was one of the officers who they will not promote. Irfan Ali tried to manipulate the commission at that time. And when Paul Slow said, no, we have evidence here that this young man is corrupt, he's involved in all kinds of corrupt activities, we will not promote him. Irfan cut short the life of that commission, had another commission installed, and this young man was promoted. Well, let them take what they're getting now. And so it's not him alone, but there are so many others. And, this young man, it's unfortunate that he has to go through all that he's going through now. But old people, they have a saying, when you live by the sword, you die by the sword.
Yes.
So when you do scampish things to get rich, it will come to haunt you one of these days.
So let me ask you a question there, please, Honorable Coretta McDonald. You said that it's how many million? 800 million Guyanese dollars. So that works out to be about 3.8, almost 4 million US dollars that he has amassed. How long was the assistant commissioner?
Might have been about 3 or 4 years.
3 or 4 years. So in 3 or 4 years, he has amassed, what a job this is. 4 million US dollars he has in the bank and properties and so on. So what are they saying? How did he amass that? What did he do? How did it happen?
Well, he will say to them what he has done. What is happening right now is that he is off of the job. He's on leave. They sent him off on leave. There's an investigation that is ongoing. There's a battle between him and another police officer. I think he is very uncontrollable, so they don't want him to be the police commissioner. That's the talks around, They don't want him to be the commissioner. And yes, like one of our viewers is saying, he is going to be facing 240 charges that they have pending there, waiting to.
So who is it they? Who is it they that? So tell us the process. How did they find out that something was wrong in what he was doing, that there was corruption or the possibility, allegation of corruption? How did that come about?
Well, he had a wedding just about a year ago, And
Yes.
that wedding, it is alleged that it is not alleged anymore. There's a statement coming from the Commissioner of Police acting, where he said he collected 8.5 million dollars from a businessman who paid for this assistant commissioner's wedding, who paid all the expenses for his wedding. And then there was the issue of the police co-op union, the co-op society, a whole lot of skullduggeries there. And coming out of that, all of these other issues started popping up. So he's at the center of the investigations right now. Today, the police went there to search his home. They couldn't search the home, and this evening I'm seeing that they were instructions were sent to arrest him and his family members. He has a wife who's in, I think, her latter stages of of the pregnancy at this time, and so instructions were sent for them to be locked up. Well, when you play with the pups, you get bitten by the fleas. He was all into the business of all this corruption with the government who's in office right now. So this is what is going to happen. But I can tell you one thing. This fella here, he will not go down alone. He is going to spill the
Oh.
beans. He will speak out, because the guy who was in charge of Soku, which is an arm of the police force that investigates crime, he is saying that the head there, the guy who's heading that arm, the guy was at his wedding too. The guy gave him huge sums of monies as wedding gifts, and the guy was also part and parcel of him buying one of the properties that he bought. So
So
he
hold
went
a second. So you're saying that a person, one of the personnel in the police force who is above him, it's just what's the role
well,
of this
well,
person?
they're all on the same level. Remember, we
They're
have
all on the same level. I
administration, we have
understand.
this, we
Okay.
have that. So
So they're
he's heading one of the criminal investigations department, and so he is now tasked with investigating his colleague.
ha. But that person was at the same wedding. The
Yes,
wedding, the $8.5 million wedding is
yes,
he
he was
was
at
there
Brutus's
too.
wedding.
So how is it going to be an independent and investigation? How because if the police is investigating the police, how is it that going to be truly independent?
Well, that's exactly what we're saying. How is it that all of these persons who are implicated here, how can they launch a fair investigation? It would not be a fair investigation. But the thing is, I think the government they have decided that, look, we had you here, we've used you to do whatever it was, we don't want you anymore. So they're trying to get rid of him. But the manner with which they're
Ah.
trying to do that is what is creating all the confusion, because Brutus himself is saying that this whole thing is politically motivated. It's politically motivated. They want to get to him. But I don't think he's prepared to go down alone. He's going to call many more names. He's going to talk about all that is happening, because he was the person who implicated the commissioner of police acting, saying that was the person who was his wedding planner. That was the person who paid off the expenses. And then, of course, the commissioner of police had to come on board to say, well, yes, I did that. I collected the monies from the I collected the
Wow.
monies from a businessman. A businessman brought the envelope to me. I counted the monies. It
What?
was $8.5 million. I booked the venue. I did the food. I arranged for the food and so on, and the drinks. And at the end of the wedding, the hotel returned to me. I think it's about 800 and something $1,000, because all the drinks they ordered, and so people didn't drink all of that. So they had a refund of that, and he gave that to the officer and his wife. But there's a whole big thing happening with them here. It's not easy.
So,
All the gun license that they're selling, all the
uh-huh.
this that they're doing, but of course, Brutus is now the scapegoat.
Wow. So the police itself, it has an arm that would investigate these kinds of issues. So they have a system that they're supposed to, okay, and that is what they have put to work. But
Yeah.
Brutus himself is saying, well, you know what, I'm the scapegoat. and
Yes.
I'm not going down alone. So you think a lot more persons are scared?
Many more names are going to be called, and I'm waiting to see what the government is going to do. Not too long, I was reading where they're saying that Mr. Brutus, as long as he's charged, as long as the DPP recommends charges for him, then he will have to step aside. And of course, we know that you'll have to step aside. But it's crazy here. Corruption upon corruption upon corruption. And this is what the PPP government embraced. They embrace corruption. When it's not corruption in the police force, it's corruption in the Ministry of Education. It's corruption at the Ministry of Social Protection. Just the other day, we had the PS, the permanent secretary from the Ministry of Social Protection, resigning with immediate effect. You know why? There was this unfolding of the disappearance of the old age pension books and the public assistance books. And when she was caught in the middle of it, she resigned with immediate effect. Now, you and I know that if someone were to resign from that level with immediate effect, then they lose all their benefits. But you know what? 2 weeks later, this very young woman was appointed human resources manager at the Guyana Revenue Authority 2 weeks after.
Wow. My goodness. But I'm here wondering, Miss McLean, you've been in government for a while. I mean, if they wanted Brutus, they really wanted him to have the job. It seems that this ruling government. What my big question is, what's going on in my mind? What could he have done? What did he do to cause them to have a change of mind regarding him? What happened? There has to be something, because if they lobbied so hard and worked so hard to get him in the position, why don't they want him in that position anymore? That's the question. Miss McLean, your mic.
I realized I was muted. Well, what it sounds like to me, I mean, if the corruption is so obvious based on the information that is shared, clearly, and the reality is now, whether organizations or governments like it, information is so readily available to the public that you can run, but you can't hide. Let me put it like that. So basically, obviously, it sounds as though this is major. I'll ask a question though. My recollection, I don't know the name, but was there some issue with the U.S. government with members of the police force or some public officials in Guyana recently?
Recently, we had that. As a matter of fact, the PS, Ministry of Home Affairs, her visa was revoked. Her cell phone and the computer were confiscated. She was held by the U.S. government for questioning. And so, well, of course, she's off the job now. They're saying that they're waiting for some, they're going to launch some investigation. But the thing is, the whole pack of them are corrupt. When you listen, we have the Guyana Power and Light. Who's heading the Guyana Power and Light? The Attorney General's brother. He is heading the Guyana Power and Light. And we got 2 power ships. We got a power ship that we bring in. We're spending a whole lot of monies. And you know what? Every day across this country is power outage, blackout every single day. Every single day. So I don't know why we're spending all these monies to do these things. And you know what they do? They hide all the skullduggery in construction of buildings and construction of roads. That's where they're able to siphon off the monies. And what you get a road now, and in another 3 months from now, you have to do the same road. You have schools that are being constructed. We have one that has been there 4 years now. Their friend got the contract. The school can't be completed as yet. They've asked for more monies and an extension of time, and they've not been blacklisted. We have another young man who sits there with Barrow Jagdeo at his press conference. They call him he says he's the realist. Critics, they call him though. Guyanese critics.
Yes.
And Guyanese critics got a contract for $8 billion, I think the contract was worth. 800 and something million, about $1 billion contract. He has done little or no work yet on the contract, on the site where he got this contract has been awarded. And you have not heard anybody in the government saying we're going to pull this contract, we're going to blacklist him. And it happens all the time. When you go around with
But
this,
Miss McDonald, I have to pause you there because I remember, unless I'm mistaken, this Guyanese critic, he has a big social media following, doesn't he?
very
And wasn't he always speaking against the government?
well, there was a time when he was speaking against this when he was speaking
What
against
I'm
it.
saying,
There was
Miss
a
McLean
time,
is smiling.
there was a time, and all of a sudden, look, money talks, Money talks. And when you have,
Dr. Ferdinand, basically, this is a Barbados. Listen, we're having a Barbados moment here, Miss McDonald.
yes,
You hold a minute. So basically, what has happened? Cousin Ali, what Cousin Ali did is that or that government, the allegation is that what they pay him and shut up that they pay him and they shut down that voice of
Yeah.
opposition. So the man is no longer a voice of opposition, can you
No.
get a couple millions?
No,
Not building
Well,
a thing. Huh?
well, two things here, Marcia, quickly. First of all, over the weekend, the young lady, I believe, that was leading the Young Democrats in Barbados crossed the floor. And my first question was, how much was she paid? She's the young lady that did a New Year's Day message to the youth of Barbados. And now she is in the bosom of the Barbados Labour Party. That's the first thing. And Karita, I think, the second thing, and I'm looking at it here because the article was sent to me. The ambassador of the United States to Guyana, I think her name is Nicole Theriot. I hope I'm pronouncing it correctly. She said that America is investigating allegations of corruption in the police force and that they will not be providing any resources, including technical assistance and funding, to a police force with issues of corruption. Now, I'm hoping that the American government is being sincere about what they're saying.
Well, I'm hoping that too, because sometimes. But the thing
Politics.
is, this is what happens in politics when you are not grounded. When you
That's
are
right.
not grounded and when you don't value principles, these kinds of things happen. We've heard all the complaints. Well, let me tell you what's the big thing now in Guyana. The big thing now in Guyana is construction of buildings, roads, and we're going to be having $100,000 cash grant. It was $200,000. People made a whole lot of noise about it because they said, oh, $200,000 per family. And so persons started saying, well, if I live in a home with an extended family, how can you give us $200,000? So they removed the $200,000. So it's $100,000 per individual. As long as you're Guyanese and you're over 18 and over, you're going to receive this $100,000. We don't know as yet when this is going to start
Universal
happening.
basic
What
income.
I can say to you is many persons will not receive that $100,000 because they're going to put all kinds of foolishness into it. That's one. Two, the corruption is going to be even more rampant because we don't have any idea as to how many 18-year-olds we have, how many 19-year-olds, how many 20-year-olds, or in general, we had a census, but up to now, they have not released that report. So nobody could say how many individuals we have 18 and above. So the corruption will kick Wild West in there. The PPP will have a field day in spending again.
Again, I'm going to pause you there because I want Barbadians, as we hear Honor Coretta McDonald speaking, Barbadians, I want you to think about what is happening here in Barbados. Think about the construction. You heard on the show all the time. Kimar would say that is where the kickbacks happen.
That's where
a lot of corruption happens. And what is booming right now in Barbados? It's construction. They are building and the development because that is the space. That is the place in which you have a lot of this kind of, we kind of grease palms and so on. So as we listen, don't just listen and say, oh, wow, look at Guyana. think about Barbados. But back
But
to
you,
you, Miss
but you know,
Mandela.
Marcia, let me say to you, it's only brother and sister could operate that way, or cousins, you know. Brother and sister, let me tell you what, in Barbados, you have quite a lot of roundabouts. We're having that
Uh-huh.
in Guyana here right now. Guyana is now the roundabout country. Every two turn you make, a roundabout going up, man, a roundabout going up somewhere. So, like they call it, saying birds of a feather. Every two turns is a roundabout. But that's what happens here, where they give out these contracts. The contract is expected to give a 10% here and a something percent there. And that's why we can't have proper work being done on the roads or on the buildings. Because when you bid for a contract, and you bid a contract is you bid for $10 million, and then you
Mhm.
have to give a 10% here and you have to give something else somewhere, it shortens right away what you have to use to do your construction work. And that's why you get slabby work and all of that going on. But it doesn't matter to these people. All they see, huge buildings going up, more schools are going up, even when we don't have teachers to teach in them and we don't have enough learners to put in them. We constructing schools. You'll see Friday of this week we're going to have a graduation. Teachers are going
Mhm.
to be graduating from the teachers training college. But many of those teachers who are going to be graduating from the college, I can bet my life that some of them did not complete the program. But you know what? Numbers matter to the Minister of Education and to her
Right.
president and the others. Oh, we graduated 2,300 teachers. Ask how many of them completed the entire program. I have big news for them tomorrow. Not tomorrow, maybe the next day, where
Mhm.
there's a teacher who is going to appear before the Teaching Service Commission tomorrow, where they're saying that the teacher committed fraud. But the teacher can't commit fraud when her name was announced at the graduation that she graduated. It's not the teacher's fault, but this is what we have happening in Guyana. I remember persons said last year, oh, the minister called, the allegations you're having, that the minister called the college and said, make it happen. Whether they complete or not, you put them on the list so that she
Ah,
can go out there and boast about how many teachers they would have graduated, how many teachers they churned out of the college. But you see, they don't understand quality, they understand quantity and not
mhm.
quality. Because these are the teachers that we expect to go into the classrooms to teach our children. But if they're not
Yes.
properly grounded, how you expect them to deliver? But that's not important. You see what we did? We graduated so many teachers, so many teachers. And then when you finish doing that, half the teachers gone out of the country. But I
Yeah.
remember one of the ministers of education under the very PPP said, let them go, we'll train more. Let them go, we'll train more. So the emphasis is not on retaining your teachers. The emphasis is on training. You're going to train them. You're showing big that you're training so many. But ask how many can effectively deliver in the classrooms. And since we're talking about that, I know last week we spoke about the pit latrines that we have in Guyana. Just this week, I don't know if the operator has it, but just this week we had a beam falling on a parent. A parent attended a parent teachers conference, and a
Mm.
beam fell on her head and injury. She got injuries to her head. I think
Hold
she
a
got,
minute. So a parent was went to a school in Guyana
yes, yes,
at
yes.
a parents teachers
Conference,
conference.
yes. Hmm.
Barbadians, listen up, Barbadian. It's before a beam drop in your head. So parents went to this oh Lord, and a beam drop in the woman head and burst her head.
Yep.
She went there with her good head. She was fine. And this is a woman leaving the school. So this could have happened to a child.
A child.
Barbados, are we listening? Doesn't this sound like Barbados? Oh my gosh.
No. So you see, this school was they delayed the reopening of this school. When most of the other schools were reopened, this school was delayed. But the children are there now. This is another one I'll talk about just now. The children are there having to work in a school that is not safe. And in the eyes of the Ministry of Education, the minister who doesn't care about people's children, because her children doesn't attend that school, so she doesn't care.
So here is it, the teachers have to be operating on one side of the building while another side of the building is collapsing. And this is what this was the result yesterday, where the teacher, the parent, as a matter of fact, got injured. Now, I'm wondering, if this parent had died, what would have happened? If it were a child, what would have happened? Would they have done what they did to those in Madia, where you know that we had the fire there from the dorms? 20 lives were lost. And you know what this government did? They gave to the family members $5 million each, as if that's what the life of a child is worth in this country, Guyana. $5 million. Maybe that's what they would have done to this woman too. Give to her family $5 million and stand the funeral expenses. But it's disgusting when we talk about Guyana being the little Dubai, or the Dubai of the new Dubai of the Caribbean, and we're making so much progress. And this is what we have to face here. This is what we have to face here. The other pictures that the operator was going to show there is another school I visited just about 2 days ago. And this is a nursery school where we have our babies between the age of 3, 6 to 5 years old. Nursery school. They have demolished one part of this nursery school. The other part, they just put some zinc sheets there and block it off. And the children are operating on that side. You notice I'm there. Those are some of the workmen there. The men are bending steel and cutting steel. And the opening you're seeing at the top there is part of the ceiling that was taken off. And you know what? The bat dung and the ammonia from the urine of the bat, it's creating havoc in the schools. The children are inhaling that. They are sneezing. They're having itching on their skin, burning of the nose, but the children have to endure that, all because Priya Manichan and Irfan Ali, who went to your country to talk a whole lot of foolishness, this is what he's allowing in Guyana, because their children are not attending that school. Today, I'm learning that, well, on Friday, the teachers had to wear masks. Today, I'm hearing that the children, their lips have started bursting, because of course the bat dung is flying. You don't see it. They put their hands on the table, and the same hands they're putting to their faces. So the children, and you know, this is what is happening in Guyana. And so when you see Ali come and dress up out there and talking a whole lot of foolishness, I would tell them, you can't be man abroad when you can't be man a yard. That's an old saying that we have here. If you can't be man a yard, you can't be man abroad. So don't go out there and dress up and make up yourself and progress, and you're talking about how we can build and how we can make our territories better when you're not doing the same thing in your own country. What, about 2 years ago or a year ago, we had the issue at Maka, where they handcuffed that single mother and had her in the mud, broke down her home. Now they're back at Maka to take away the people's land. Another set of land they're back there to take away. And so these guys, when they come disguised as whoever they want to be disguised as, we can't trust them. We cannot trust them because they're evil. So this is the part of this school here. You see all the material there. All of this is in the schoolyard. And in that very compound, our little babies have to walk through. Our babies have to walk through there. You have nails being exposed because they just ripped them off. You have an excavator. If you look there closely, you'll see an excavator there in the schoolyard. Now the sand is blowing because there's nothing covering it. It's blowing all over into the classroom and everything. And our little children and their teachers have to suffer that kind of fate.
And to think that, you know, we're looking at this, Miss McLean and Dr. Purdy and viewers, to think that this is a man that came to Barbados to address the BLP conference, is as though he's achieved so much, and he's a keynote speaker, and look at these deplorable conditions that they have the children studying under. Think about it. And this, if we were to let this one in here continue, thank God for Miss Dujon, who goes around to the schools and checks, and they know they have this show. They would have our children living, work, and in feces, and we could have a situation at any of the schools where people go to the schools and something drop. Parents go to the school and something drop in their heads and burst their head. It can happen here too. It can happen here too. And this is what happens, I don't know, Miss McLean, or have anything to say about this, but this is ridiculous.
Now, I haven't sat in a cabinet, Marcia, and I can talk about my critique of what happens in Barbados, and clearly it should apply here. Financial resources should be no problem in Guyana. Children go on holiday for about 9 weeks. I'm not sure how long the summer break is in Guyana. For heaven's sake, this kind of work should be done from the time the school closes for the summer holiday. A program of maintenance and repair should be undertaken. I can tell you, in the case of Minister Ronald Jones, who would have been Minister of Education for a 10-year period, he reported to cabinet in advance of the close of the school year of the list of schools to be fixed, the scope of works, in other words, which were major repairs, minor repairs, etc. And there is a unit in the Ministry of Education responsible for that. Now, the question I would ask is, in a case like this, how does the Guyana government allocate contracts? Because the other problem is people may get contracts, they may not be competent to do the work, they may, fail to do it in a timely manner, and all kinds of things. And so obviously often what you're seeing here is bad planning at best and corruption at worst.
Yep.
That's how we see it.
Well, it looks very much like what's going on in Barbados, because at the start of our school year, as you will recall, Maxine and Marcia, there were a whole number of schools that could not start in the week that school was scheduled to begin. And not only that, you had principals and deputy principals that were allocated at short notice, and some of them actually, as far as I recall, carried in the media, some resigned, some left the teaching profession as a result of, well, I don't know what, but they left the teaching profession. And we had a number of schools with orders. We had a number of schools with work still being done. We had a number of schools on the day of opening, the grass was as tall as a forest. These were things that were happening in school. And that has nothing to do, Honorable Carita, with the violent aspects of what we have happening in our schools in Barbados. Now, the Minister of Education tried to play it down and said there are only like about 300 students out of a number of thousands of students. But my argument is that you don't know at any point in time which student out of the ones who are not the troublemakers is going to explode for one reason or the other because of what they're experiencing in their home environment. And then in addition to that, you have the aspect of putting your wards in the care of an institution and a government, because when we send them to school, we place them in the hands of the government for safekeeping. And that safekeeping is not just a matter of keeping them from injury, with anything falling on them or being cut by a cutlass or something, but that also includes the contracting of different issues, nasal, respiratory issues, and so on. I'm looking at this picture that's there now, and I wanted to ask you, is that a toilet?
Yes, that's a toilet right there on the outside there.
In a school?
Yes, in a school, that's one there. That's where they are going to, I think they're going to demolish that one. I don't know, but they have demolished this part of the school and they are going to rebuild there. When they're finished rebuilding that part, then they are going to relocate the learners now to this part when they're finished there, and then they're going to work on the front. And so I'm saying, how are the children going to work there with the noise?
How many weeks have you all been into school, into your term? How many weeks have transpired?
It has been 6 weeks.
6 weeks. You're 6 weeks into the active school year.
Yep.
And this is going on?
This is what is happening.
But this should have been finished. This should have been completed before this beginning of the school term.
But it's a dangerous work site as well. I mean, that's dangerous. Look at the materials.
That is madness.
Let me tell you what happens. What they do. They try to keep all the monies locked in. We call them the 3 F's: family, friends, and favorites. So they keep the monies locked in there. So they have a particular set of contractors. And so one set would have maybe 4 jobs. Another set would have another 4 jobs. So you can't have enough time to do what you're supposed to do because you have too much to do. So you can't do it. And then when you do it, it can't be done properly. So what you're seeing there, where I'm standing, that's zinc sheets they have there blocking off this part. But you know what? You have the stairways where the children are using the stairs all the time to go in and out. And on the outside of the building, where we have all the materials thrown out there, they hit down there, they put this, they do, this is the front of the school. It's Hopetown Nursery School. That's the front of the school. And you know, for the life of the education officials, they don't see anything wrong with having the children there with all of this in the schoolyard. They don't see
But
anything wrong.
But let me ask you this, Honorable Karita, and I, you know, I hate to delve into these areas because you want to believe the best. You know, I grew up in an era, Maxine, you remember this. You believe the best, and you get surprised by the
You hope for the
worst.
best.
You remember
Yes.
that? Yeah. But you know, I have over the last several years, I've had to reverse it and say, you know, I believe the worst and I get surprised by the best. But what ethnic group is this in, if I may ask?
Well, I'm happy that you're asking that.
Because it would
This
appear to
group,
me that in Guyana there is a crisis of race
yep, yep.
from all that I have received and been listening. And
Mhm,
so
mhm.
what
So,
location is this
so this
facility?
here, this here is a predominantly Afro-Guyanese area. And this is what we have happening in those areas. If it were in other areas, then we wouldn't have them happening. But this is predominantly an Afro-Guyanese area.
You know, I'm almost sorry that you didn't have pictures of the other area that we could see, and maybe you could take some in the future and bring for us, because you know this is to me untenable. And a government is not, and some people might think I'm being what's the word, Maxine, naive, I think it is. But a government is supposed to look after the well-being of all of its people,
All of its people.
regardless of race, ethnicity, religion, anything. I mean, these are fundamental human rights issues.
Hmm.
And you know, I
But I really look, and there's no pretending of it. I mean, the disparities between um, Afro or Black Guyanese and communities and predominantly Indo Guyanese communities. You see the pictures. I happen to be in a group of Guyanese, a chat, and I see posted often because this is mainly Afro Guyanese for the most part, and you see pictures posted of road works done. And if you talk to people, there's a history. I
Yeah.
recall when was, I'm trying to remember, years ago when the government changed after, and I'm aging myself here, but I have no problems. After Forbes Burnham lost office,
you don't age. Come on.
I, I may not look the age, but the age is there. I remember being at a university workshop, and there was a Afro Guyanese woman, and people were talking about, the change in government. And she pulled me aside and she said, I understand people celebrating, but I remember as a girl growing up under a previous PPP government. And she talked about the fact that when her father was in agriculture, and when the vets were called, they went to the other farmers, but they didn't come to him, even though they were in the same community,
Mhm.
and the difference was race. Now, it is an unfortunate thing, but my concern is with all the resources you have at your disposal at this point in time, I would expect, well, certainly I will hope that my prime minister, as a black woman, and I'm being very frank now, would be lobbying for the disadvantaged in Ghana who would,
Manu, say,
Precisely.
say something else. Say something else.
well, I had to say that because I feel it. it's ironic because, and I would say this and leave it there because I know the discussion. I was foreign minister for almost 10 years, and I know the issues we had with exploitation of Guyanese here and problems. I remember sitting down with my colleague and discussing some of those things because people saw it as simply a case. In fact, some people would go there and argue that, oh, we don't like them. But what we did not like as a government was the what I call the behaviors of companies and business people and people who employed people and exploited them, and they exploited them because of the situation. Now you have a situation where all Guyanese, I mean, if you can give each citizen over 18 years old, in theory, because I listened to what you said about the absence of census data and so on, and whether or not you will see that effectively happening. If you can do that, it tells me there are significant resources to ensure that's a nursery school. Let me get back to the school. That is a nursery school, which means that you are exposing, and you use the word baby, and I would, or babies, you're exposing children to that kind of, imagine a little child tripping on some of that material, etc. That's a nursery school, not a secondary school with teenagers. And even then it shouldn't happen. I just find it strange because as I said, I've seen the pictorial evidence that there is a bias towards certain communities in a situation where there's not an issue about resources anymore, And
Yeah.
then when these things are raised in the region and internationally, you would want to hear people pretending away these facts. And to
Yeah.
my mind, if you're not party solution, a party problem, and I would say to the Prime Minister, yes, you will tell me that countries try not to meddle internally, but if I am close to you and you're my friend or cousin or somebody describes it, let me whisper in your ear that I don't like what I'm seeing happening in relation to my people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm listening here, and we only have a few minutes left, but there is a situation in Barbados, and you're telling us about Guyana, and we want to show you a short video of a situation that occurred in Parliament. Now, in your country, you have a Speaker of the House,
We do have a Speaker of the House.
and can you tell me the role of the Speaker of the in your Parliament? How many government MPs do you have?
Well, we have 31 MPs, 31 opposition MPs, and 32. It's just one seat different. But what we have the joiner party who is also with us, but they speak on the side of the government all the time. So they're not opposition. So it's actually 32 for the government. And the speaker is also government. So, regardless of what we do in the parliament, whatever motion we bring to the parliament, the speaker decides whether he want to allow or not to allow them. I remember when we had COVID, and we brought some issues to parliament, some motions, and the speaker said in his mind he didn't see those as being urgent, and so he did not allow them. And so the opposition can say as much as they want in the parliament. The speaker would shut
Speaker.
it all the time.
Because the speaker, basically the speaker, my understanding, and between you and Miss McLean have been in Parliament, so you can at some point. I know Miss McLean was in the Senate, but she understands the whole system. And we were supposed to have a former Speaker of the House on tonight. I'm not sure what has happened. We have not heard him, and I announced it. So I'd like to make sure at least we say something on it and let you know what has happened. But I thought, that I would play this in a clip for you to see what happened to our leader of the opposition here in. But remember, we have one person. All right. So you told me that you have at least 29, right?
21,
30.
30.
30. Okay. You have 30. We have one, Honorable Coretta McDonald, one, and he is speaking up about a particular issue, whatever we think of the issue or not. And this is what's happening to him by the Speaker of the House, the Deputy Speaker of the House in the Motley's government. Play, Dave.
I'm in the seat, sir. Yes. Were I on the outside, I would have said other things, but not with any negative language, because I don't curse anymore. I ask God to remove it.
You don't curse anymore.
No, sir. Otherwise, I would have cursed you, but I wouldn't do that.
No,
I so
please, sir.
highly respect you.
We got to play that one more time. So this is the Speaker of the House. Let us explain the characters in this scene right now. Okay, the characters in the scene, the location of the scene is Parliament. Okay, this is a setting. It's Parliament, and that is the respectable Deputy Speaker of the House, Cynthia Ford, that is sitting there, a woman that is way older than I am, and somebody that is supposed to be respected, has served in this country, and she is a deputy speaker. And the next person in this scene, the next character in this scene, is the lone member of the opposition, the lone MP, and he is the leader of the opposition, And let us now listen to the dialogue between these two characters, bearing in mind the position that they hold and their job description and all of that in our minds. Let's listen to this clip again.
I'm in the seat, sir.
Yes.
Were I on the outside, I would have said other things, but not with any negative language, because I don't curse anymore. I ask God to remove it.
You don't curse anymore.
No, sir. Otherwise, I would have cursed you, but I wouldn't do that.
No,
I so
please, sir.
highly respect you.
So this is what is happening in our Parliament. So he has challenged them on a particular issue, and she is saying that had it not been for the fact that she had asked God to remove the cursing or whatever, she would have cursed him. What are your thoughts about this kind of behavior? I want to bring you in our business.
Well, this is only a replica of what we have in Guyana. I remember we challenged the speaker. We brought a motion against the speaker saying that we have no confidence in him. And he blocked that motion. He said he has the right to do this and we must sit down. And he tells you must sit down. And if you don't sit, then he would, of course he stands and then you have to sit. But I remember we were going through the National Resource Fund. And they were going to pass that committee. And we said we needed to have much more consultation being done. We needed to have much more consultation. And they decided, look, you got 31 and we got 33 plus the other one. We got 34. So regardless of what you say, we are going to pass it. And we kept there and we kept putting our arguments forward. And you know what? They went ahead to pass it. And we decided that we were going to protest in the Parliament. And there's the president's, I can't remember what you call it, but it's the sword, something that looks like the sword, the mace, the mace. We decided that we were going to remove the mace because as long as you remove the mace, then there can't be anything of legal substance there. So we removed the mace. Now, my colleagues who were part and who were in there, the ones who went and they removed the mace, they were all sanctioned by the speaker. They were suspended, their parliamentary salaries and everything taken away from them. Now, these very people, when David Granger went to address the Parliament, these very people who are sitting there in government now, they created havoc in Parliament. You couldn't even hear a word coming from David Granger, how they behaved in the Parliament. These very people stood in Parliament and a whole group of them started shouting for rape and rape and rape and rape, including the Minister of Education. She was part and parcel of the grouping where both men and women were shouting for rape when they sat in opposition. But now when they're in government, and what happened then when they shouted rape? One of their member who was shadowing Public Works, he was very rude to the speaker. And the speaker said, look, listen, I'm going to have you speak, but not right now. I'm speaking, so I'm asking you to sit. And he said, I will not sit. You can't tell me to sit. I will not sit. The speaker said, you're being very disrespectful. He said, I will break all the rules. I don't care. And so the speaker ordered him on several counts. The speaker rose to his feet and so on and said, sit down. He said, I'm not sitting. I'm not sitting. I have to speak. By then, the speaker called the sergeant of arms and they asked that they lead him out. He said he's not going anywhere. He's sitting right there. He's staying right there. And so there was the big commotion in Parliament with them. But now when we decide that we are going to stand up for our rights, because we're saying you're passing this natural resources fund, this committee, you want what you want to, how you want to spend the natural resources fund, the monies coming from oil. But you don't want to take specifics. You see, this government here is a visionless government. They wake up tomorrow morning and they decide that this can work. It will bring them some more monies. So they run out and they do it. But this kind of attitude is the very attitude we're having in our parliament.
Wow.
Where,
And then,
and let me say to you, Marcia,
Yes.
the speaker sat right there. And a minister within the PPP government, he stood in the parliament at the podium to speak. And while he was speaking, one of my colleagues said something to him. And he said, then, you want a dildo. And there was no rebuke from the Speaker of the House. None.
And then we are complaining about the behavior of our children, and
I
we're
was just
complaining
about
about all
Yes.
of that. And she's this woman that is here could be a grandmother, and she's speaking about cussing and all of that. And look, and sitting in such a dignified place and position, with the scales balancing on both sides and sitting with her pearls and everything, and that kind of behavior can be coming out of her mouth. So, Dr. Ferdinand?
Well, no, I was just about to make that point, Marcia. When our young people, because this is a public view and this is on Facebook, okay? And when our youth see this conduct and then you want to come out and correct them and tell them to stop this or to desist this, who's going to listen to you? Because that's the example you have set. If I were in another place, I would curse you, but God remove that from me. Please don't bring God into it.
Right?
Because don't do that, because I know this lady Marcia, and to be honest with you, I am a little disappointed to hear that coming out of her mouth. And if I saw her, I mean, I know where she used to live at one time, right outside of the Lestavon school. And I am disappointed to hear this. I'm not surprised, knowing the level of what debate has become in Parliament. And I must tell you, I really would not like any young people to view this clip. I don't know if they can have it removed.
Yeah, well, it's gone already, and
No, I'm being very sarcastic,
because I'm not disappointed, Miss McLean, because I've seen the women, a lot of these older women in I've seen Liz Thompson, I've seen them all, and it's just nasty, and I'm I know you don't like me to speak this plainly about it, but it's nasty and it's vulgar and it's dirty, and this kinds of behavior, this is not the way you carry yourself as a lady. It is not becoming as a lady. And I must say, I'm not disappointed. I've come to expect it from these loud, foul-mouthed women in that party. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Miss McLean.
No, I was going to say, woman or man, I think the position of speaker is supposed to carry with it a level of dignity. In fact, the whole process and proceedings in Parliament are supposed to carry a certain level of and certain standards. I mean, I sat as leader of government business in the Senate, and when my colleagues wanted to do certain things, I said, no, it cannot happen in here. That's not how we present ourselves to the world. And I think people need to think before, but there's a level of casualness, if that's a word, that I see emerging in Parliament, and I think it is unfortunate. And this has nothing to do with the colonial mentality. It is about standards and the importance of the institutions and the persons who preside in those institutions. and it
Fully
just,
agree.
and
Fully agree.
if you start to slip, you will slide,
Yep.
so you have to work main standards.
Yeah.
Well,
Otherwise the country suffers.
you know what? The thing is, they have gotten so caught up with power. They're so power drunk that
Yeah.
they have forgotten, when you sit in a particular seat, our parliament in Guyana is a joke. Let me say that. It's a joke because they take nothing serious. Nothing they don't take serious. We had a 15 and a 16-year-old boy, two cousins, the Henry boys, who were murdered, brutalistly murdered, if there's such a word as brutalistly. If you see the chops on their foreheads, if you see the big chops on their necks, their backs, and so on. And we took a motion to Parliament. The Speaker denied us that opportunity.
Mm.
There are times when the leader of the opposition stand up there to speak, and the leader would say to him, the Speaker would say to him, I don't want to hear you. I have passed that. I don't want, these people are a bunch of, I don't know what to call them. But let me tell you what, elections are due very soon in Guyana. And so they're running around now like headless chickens, trying to see if they can bribe the people with a whole lot of cash grants. I know many more cash grants will come, but people have had enough of them. Even their own very supporters are tired and fed up with them because they've recognized that all they want to do is to use them when it's elections time to get their votes. And after that, it's only that elite group, the 3 Fs, family, friends, and favorites, who benefit all the time. Nobody else matters to them. And so just now we are going to have some more heat here in Guyana when the real campaign gets started. And you'll hear some of the things that they will say. She's saying God took away the curse from her. Well, you'll hear some of the things coming from Minister Priya Manik-Chand, that's the education minister, from the Minister of Social Protection. Well, don't talk about the Minister of Parliamentary Affairs. She ain't got no class. She doesn't care what she says. And she's a big woman too, eh?
Yeah.
Big woman too. That we're supposed to
Disgusting.
respect. But
That-
when you hear them cuss out on Facebook, when you see them, I'll probably have to get screenshots, some of the posts, and get them to you with some of the things that they would put out there. I mean, we have an acting commissioner of police in Guyana right now. He has passed the age of retirement. They have extended his stay. They've given him a contract. Now the president is saying that he wants to appoint this very man now as commissioner of police when he has passed the retirement age. And then you have the Minister of Parliamentary Affairs putting out a whole big statement out there glorifying why this man must be appointed, a man who was already retired. They're now going to confirm him as the commissioner of police.
that sounds familiar, Miss McLean. Doesn't that sound familiar?
And look now,
If these
It
people
certainly
are not
does.
related,
It certainly does.
if these two leaders are not related, I am telling you something is wrong.
They're
wrong.
sharing
And look,
sharing information and strategies. We have
Two peas in a pod.
a
we
former
have-
commissioner.
Let me hear Miss McLean.
Now, I was saying we have a former commissioner.
Yes, 2 minutes.
And,
We have 2 minutes.
and he didn't retire in office. So he was a former commissioner. I will leave it there. You can investigate the circumstances of his departure. But he is now appointed in some special position. And if you go to recent articles in the newspaper, based on what I read, I'm still trying to figure out what he's being paid. And his salary, certainly from what I was told, sounds very much like the salary of a minister when I was a minister. And the question is, what is he doing for this? But it is the same kind of playbook, let me put it that way, that they are using,
Yes.
I just want quickly to ask a question, because what's the population distribution between
1 second before you ask that question. It's 10:09. I know we're having
Right.
fun and we don't realize the
I
time.
just that's why I wanted that figure, and I will come back to it another time. What's the distribution of the population by race and ethnic group. For example, Afro Guyanese, probably original Amerindians. That's what you call them.
Yeah, the indigenous people.
Indigenous people, as well as in the Indo-Guyanese population. What
Well,
kind of
at one
distribution?
time we had a 41, we had a 49, and then you had about a 15 or 18 somewhere along the line there, which comprises the indigenous people and the mixed races. But those numbers have changed, because what we have now is quite a lot of the Indo-Guyanese leaving Guyana. They're migrating.
Okay.
And so they no longer have that. And that's why our government, well, I don't know why I'm saying our government, but the government of Guyana, so the government of Guyana now is bent on having Venezuelans flood Guyana. So they're using the Venezuelans now who they're going to use to vote for them at elections. So they're bringing up all kinds of stories to say why these people should be given Guyanese birth certificates and ID cards. And of course, they're having access to land so they can go and squat. They're having food being delivered to them, foodstuff, groceries being delivered to them, while you have your very own bona fide people who are suffering, and you don't see a problem there.
But I want to say this because we're closing, and I love to make I would love to connect it to Barbados, Miss McLean, and I want to say something to my Barbadian people. You hear how they're telling us that we are underpopulated and we need 80,000 people, and they're not pushing anybody to go have no children. If they what they're talking about migration. Well, let them try it in here and go give nobody anything inside of here. Get ready, Barbados. You hear I tell you? You get ready, because it's they're working from the same playbook, And it's only a matter of time. I sit here looking, Dr. Ferdinand, and I say it's only a matter of time they're going to come and tell us that we need to have how many people come inside of here and to do this and to do whatever. And I tell you, Barbadians, just wait on them. Just wait on them. Just wait on them. I tell you. But Lord, listen, we could go on until 11. Dr. Ferdinand.
But Marcia, let me say this one very quickly. We had the Haitians here who came to Guyana. Haiti is a part of CARICOM. But you know what they did? They locked the Haitians up and deported them. And then now they've now instituted visa restrictions on them. So Haiti, that is a part of CARICOM, you don't want the Haitians in Guyana, but you're bringing the Venezuelans. When Maduro threatening to take 3/8 of Guyana, you're flooding Guyana with the Venezuelans, and that's okay.
Wow, we need to pick this one up again, Dr. Ferdy. This has to be picked up because Barbados need to stand, because this brother and sister relationship that they have, as Miss McLean said, it seemed like they're sharing notes. But I want to tell because I know the government listening, try it. Go and try it. Go and try it in Barbados. Come with that foolishness here to get that 80,000 people. Come with it. Because that's what they try to do all over the world. You see? Come with it and bring it here. Bring it here. I tell you, my goodness. But Dr. Ferdinand, I let you close or I'll leave it the program.
Well, no, you're welcome back. I'm gonna let you close off for your birthday. Is that okay with Maxine? That sound good?
Sounds very good to me. I had a lot to say earlier, so they don't need to hear me anymore.
No, well, I am going to give the last thing I'll say, and then I'm going to turn over. I'm going to give it over to our guest, Miss Coretta McDonald. Yeah. And I know I'm due a call. I came back in the island last night, believe it or not, right? And where I was the Wi-Fi was sketchy. So I'm going to message you before the night is up and explain to you a couple of things. But I just want to say to everybody that's listening, folks, don't mind the Prime Minister talking about, people complaining. She's like a parent that beating the children and telling the children to shut up. She's like Massa beating people on the plantation and asking you what you're crying about. You understand? Don't mind her.
It.
Don't mind her. You understand? So on Sunday, right, at 2:00, we're going down to St. Lucie because the people down there, they're drinking dirty water. You understand? They drinking dirty water coming through their pipes down there in St. Lucie, and they have a right to complain. And so we are going to join with them. And the good thing about us is that we're not just about complaining. We are coming with bottles of water inside of our car trunk. You hear? Let them hear that. That we are going there with bottles of clean water because it is a right for the people of St. Lucie. And that's what we're taking down there on Sunday. Yes, at 2 o'clock. And remember, we have the bus. You remember the bus is an Independent Square. So those of you who don't have, can't drive this time around, don't have a car, we have a bus for you that's going to pick you up at Independence Square, just $10, and that's your fare back and forth. Bring your lunch and let's make a picnic of this and show the Prime Minister how we really care. She said that she cares. We know she's pretending to care, but we really care, and that's why we're going to St. Lucie. We're going to bring our lunch in the car, and we're going to have fun, and we're going to take care of Barbadians, and we're not going to tell them stop crying and stop complaining. So I'm going to see you on Sunday, okay? All right, so now over to Honorable Coretta McDonald.
Well, Marcia, before I go, I must say happy birthday to you, and I wish you everything you want to wish yourself for this new chapter of your life. I know God has been good to you, and He's going to continue to be good to you. But Marcia, as you speak about the water, I'm remembering just what's been happening here too. If you see the color of the water, when you turn your taps on, you don't want to get the smell of what is coming through your taps. And that's what they expect people to drink and use to cook and use to wash their clothing and so on. It just started coming out on some person's skin because of the kind of water. And you know, they talk about all the progress, and that's what we have. If you go down to some of the streets and you see what's happening on some of our roads, you want to find out whether people live there or people don't live there. I'm sorry I don't have the pictures to show you what has happened when the government sent persons to demolish the homes of several families. Some of them still living in tents, in tarpaulin. They got tarpaulin covering where they're going to sleep at night. And these are the people who talk about because we care and because we care. If I tell you what's happening with teachers in this country, what's happening with public servants in this country, and people are so afraid, let me tell you what. In our schools, we have schools with 846 children, primary schools, and they don't have running water in this school.
Wow.
And the head teacher can't send the children home and close the school because it's pressure on the head teachers. Many schools across Guyana, no running water. Pregnant teachers have to be lifting buckets with water to flush the toilets. In Guyana, you know, this oil-rich country, and you hear the president come to Barbados to talk his mouth full of garbage when you can't even settle things right in Guyana. Right here, running water is a problem. When it's not water, it's the electricity supply in Guyana. The weather that we have now, it's extremely hot. Many days, some days you see, and teachers post these things all the time. The teachers are out of the classrooms with their children in the schoolyard because it's too hot, and they don't have monies to buy fans to put in the classroom, so they have to bring the children on the outside. But then a friend comes up to Barbados and he says a whole lot of foolishness. You know how many children we have going to school hungry? Huh?
Wow.
But all these people live lavish lives. Some of them just became minister. And if you see the mansions that they have and all the apartment buildings that they're putting up, that's what we have in Guyana. The 3 F's: family, friends, and favorites.
And favorites. Same in Barbados. Well, you know, somebody here says that they've been begging and pleading for a week to have Miss Coretta to come back, and I got a surprise gift tonight. So we love to have you, and they want you in Barbados, and I have to talk to you about that.
Yes.
Yes, and I will explain to the people why we're having a problem with that just right now. But guys, let me just say good night to everybody. Thank you all for the great birthday wishes. I really take them to heart. Thank you so much. I received all of them that came to my phone, and the prayers and everything. Thank you. Thank you. to Dr. Ferdinand for just being such an amazing host, and to Miss McLean as well, because I heard she hosted on Sunday nights as well, and to all the guests that came on, the panelists that came on to make this show. This is a show for the people of Barbados. And it's not about a personality, and that is what has happened this entire week. God bless you. We love you, and see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Over to Dave.
Yes.
No Dave tonight? No, but listen, we needed a pretending. No, okay.
Oh, yeah. We need that one.
Oh, this is
We're
the one.
giving us him first. You're giving us this one first.
I know I'm just an prosecutor in the body. I tell you this already. I want money.
I want money.
Say what?
Money.
Whoa!
Money.
Yo!
I want money.
Man, she really said that for you?
Money.
Money.
I know I'm just an prosecutor in the body. I want money.
Whoa!
Money.
Whoa!
Money.
Yo!
Money.
You hear that?
Money.
She want money, yeah?
I want money. I want money.
You hear that? She want money, yeah?
I know I'm just an prosecutor in the body. I tell you this already. I want money. I want money.
Boy, she only care about the money.
Bye, girl. Bye.
Be good at maths nor English. I just pretending to care about people. Good at maths nor English. English. Pretending to be good. I pretending to be good. Just pretending to be good. I pretending to be good. I just pretending to care about people. 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 Pretending. And I'm pretending to be good at maths nor English. I just pretending to care about people. And I'm pretending to be good at maths nor English. I just pretending to care about people. I'm pretending to be good. And I'm pretending to be good at maths nor English. I just pretending to care about people. And I'm pretending to be good at maths nor English. I just pretending to care about people.
Come forward! Walk out! This one I got worldwide!
Just days after former government backbench